Hello guys, welcome back to another live stream. Today we are out here on a beautiful sunny day hanging out with some ducks and chickens and the goats. We've got the ducks just chilling back in this corner. I've got Elsa. Elsa's mad because I got her on the other side of the fence over there. Of course, we got one of our roosters right in front of us just doing rooster kind of things, picking at the ground. And it is a beautiful, beautiful day. Sunny, probably a good, 25 degrees out here right now, which is probably around 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Just a beautiful sunny day, enjoying some coffee. And yeah, like I said, we're just gonna hang out with the animals for a little while. Hang out with the ducks, the chickens, then maybe we'll go hang out with the goats and the cow and all that fun stuff. We'll just have a nice homestead hangout. I hope that everyone watching is having a beautiful day. Hopefully it's sunny where you are, and yeah, it's a lovely, lovely day. We are looking at some donkeys right now. So there's a pair of donkeys, but they're a little ways away from us. But I mean, we're in the middle of nowhere, so everywhere is a little ways away from us. The tough thing is the market for donkeys is so dang expensive right now. Happy Chickens, how you doing? These people, they want for the donkeys, they want $2,500 for the 3-year-old Jenny, and for the 4-year-old who's pregnant, they want $3,500. So that's $6,000 for a pair of donkeys. That's a lot of money. The whole homestead market in general, the farm market, mostly the homestead market, right? Because if you're going for commercial cattle and stuff, you're going to be getting them in larger quantities at auction. And so that market's a little better. But on the homestead level, buying animals has gotten pretty crazy. I remember the first cow that we bought was about $900 for a 6-month-old. Now we're looking at closer to $3,000 for like a 600-pound, same year heifer. Like I said, the donkeys, they're like two to 3,000 a piece. Everything is getting crazy. I mean, you see it in the chicken market. The chicken market, a day-old layer was like $1 to $2, and now we're talking. Some places are asking like up to $7 per chick. It's getting a little bit wild. And Happy Chickens, do you have any other animals other than the chickens? Do you do anything else? Do you have any goats or anything like that? I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. That sun is just beating hot out here today. We're kind of hanging out over, we're trying to stay within the Wi-Fi, but we got a flock of ducks behind us. Some of our duckies are right back there. And then the chickens are all wandering around. Knife Making, how you doing, buddy? And DJ, whoa, I almost dropped you guys. DJ says, it's been a while. Welcome back, my friend. How you doing? Jake says, hey, hillbilly Timu, Chief. How you doing? How you doing, Jake? We're just hanging out by the lake. We got some ducks and animals in the background, talking about some homestead animals. And K-Corn says, pop that top, man. Let's go nuts. And DJ says, last time I saw you, you were prepping roadkill. DJ, by the way. Sorry, DJ. I do that every time. Yeah, we're just hanging out on the homestead right now. We got the ducks in the background. We're talking about some donkeys. We've got the opportunity to buy a 3-year-old Jenny and Jenny. I'm calling her Jenny because that's her name. We're talking about buying a 3-year-old Jenny donkey. That's a female donkey who's not bred. And the person also would like us to take their 4-year-old that is currently pregnant. But man, the market is getting expensive. And Kermudge in Alaska, how are you doing? I hope you are having a fantastic day. I hope everyone on here is having a fantastic day. I see the chat's finally starting to pop off here. We are just hanging out by the lake. And of course, we've got the ducks chilling over there. My wife this morning had a little panic attack. She saw 4 or 5 ducks out on the lake, and she thought they might have been our ducks. And so I went down there and checked, and they were just some bluebills, but just some wild ducks. But it's a genuine concern. It's a genuine concern. I mean, ducks like the water, and if they do find a little hole in the fencing, they could go for it. Now, we have a couple kid pools out here for them, so they have access to the lake. But, or I mean, a pool, access to water. But yeah, you definitely don't want them getting out on the lake. And Kevin says, I want a donkey. Yes, like I said, we're looking at getting at least one, if not two. In fact, I think there's a way on here. No, that's, I think I could go like this. Oh, see, I don't have it saved properly. I was going to show you guys the donkey, but if I show you this, it's going to show you, well, it doesn't matter. There's one of them. That's one of them. But they're so dang far away from us up here in Northern Ontario, where I am. But yeah, there's two of them. There's two of them. And Wise Eyes said, killing animals is killing Mother Earth and killing God's creation. Well, I mean, Wise Eyes, everything is kind of made from Mother Earth. So eating plants would be killing Mother Earth. I mean, if you think about the interactions that fungi and flora have, either way, we were brought onto this planet to consume other things. But if you're a vegetarian or a vegan, good on you for believing it. For me, I like raising and taking responsibility for my food. So the chickens and the ducks here, these guys are all for eggs. We don't plan to butcher any of these guys. They're all for eggs. Gabby over here is coming to say hello. Gabby here, she's on the other side of this fence, but she's my Black Angus cow. And we breed her, so she's pregnant right now. So I don't plan to eat her, but I do plan to eat her babies. And Kermudge Inn says, hope you are doing good, brother. No moose this year. Time to finish some projects up here before the snow. North of us is getting nailed pretty hard right now. We had some frost 2 weeks ago, maybe three weeks ago, and then it's been beautiful ever since. It's been super hot out here. So it's gotten, we really were thinking we were gonna have to hunker down and get ready for winter, but she turned the other way. But I mean, up here in Northern Canada, the weather can just turn on a dime. We can go from this like 30-degree weather down to freezing temperatures from one day to the next. And Hallie Burton says, hello, Hallie. And Happy Chickens said hi to the cow. Name says, and your ducks aren't like a Psyduck. You can't catch them with a Pokeball. You could try. Ruth, how you doing, Ruth? Welcome to the chat. Ruth is coming over here from another streamer there, Apollo and Layla. It's an awesome channel, guys. Go check out at Apollo and Layla. And Kermudge in Alaska also has a fantastic channel, guys. I encourage you guys to check him out. He says, same here, nights in the low 40s, days in the 50s to 60s. Today, it's probably getting close to 80 degrees in the sun here. It is a smoke show. And Geezer says, fly to London. I have been to London once, assuming you're talking about London, England, and not London, Ontario. And Ruth says, yay, Apollo and Layla. In my coffee today, I have something interesting. I put in my coffee a couple dehydrated pieces of birch polypore. Birch polypore is a type of bracket fungi that grows on birch trees. It's got a lot of super good health benefits. And if you guys want to learn more about that, check out my recent long form video about the birch polypore. A fun little fact. Do you guys know who Otzi the Iceman is? O-T-Z-I, Otzi the Iceman. Otzi was found frozen in an iceberg, and when they thawed him out, they found around his neck, they estimate he's about 5,000 years old, and they found around his neck a leather necklace with some mushrooms on it, and the mushrooms turned out to be birch polypore. And that's what I'm drinking right now, is some birch polypore. I mixed some coffee in because I like the energy. And Geezer asked, do you own guns? Yes, I have 4 guns. I've got my 22 caliber for small game. You know, that's your rabbit pelter, your grouse, your partridge, as well as, sorry, I had to look at my cow, make sure she was on the right side of the gate, and stuff like that. And then I've got a 410, which is also for smaller game. Then I've got my 12 gauge, good for ducks. And then I've got my 300 Savage, which is good for moose and deer. And Morgan says, Hail Odin. Okay, we have a pagan in the group. Wise Eye says, leave mama cow's babies alone. Let her live in peace with her babies and not murder her children. As a meat eater, I think raising your own animals, raising your own beef is very, very rewarding. I build a good bond with all the animals. We had pigs for since April, and we just sent all our pigs to the butcher. We had 4 of them, and they taste fantastic. They were raised really well, really high quality of life. I raised them actually in a ½ acre of forest back here. I electric fenced off an area. We spent every day with them. We gave them belly rubs and head pats and spent a lot of time with them. And then when it was time, when they got over 250 pounds, it was time to send them to the butcher. And now they get to feed our family. And I actually really enjoyed doing the pigs. Corey, how you doing, Corey? I see you there. And Derico, I see you guys. One of the reasons I did the pigs for seasonal and butchered them the same year, that's what most people do, right? Most people will get pigs in the spring, get them fat really quick, and then butcher them in the fall, and that's your meat for the year. I gave as a gift 1 to my parents and 1 to my in-laws, and we kept 2 for ourselves. But they were a test animal. I wanted to see how it was. Up here in northern Canada, it gets down to about minus 45 degrees for about 3-4 weeks. And that is nasty. Minus 45 degrees is brutal. All my heated water dishes, they freeze solid. You got to be out here 3-4 times a day, dumping the ice and putting fresh water in there. It's a lot of work. You're clearing snowpass. You're making sure you got all your insulated shelters and heated shelters and just taking care of all the animals. And I didn't want to commit to one more new animal that I had no experience with, pigs, until I figured it out. And now that I know how to train them to electric fence, and I know how to raise them and feed them and take care of them, and we had a really successful year with pigs, next year I'm going to get some breeding pigs. So the pigs we did are your classic Wilbur. They are your pink pig. Your pink pig, that's what you're getting bacon from the grocery store and stuff like that. And they can't survive up here. They're only good to about minus 15 degrees Celsius. And then they start to get, frostbite and they can die because they don't have a lot of hair. And so we're going to get some Tamworth Berkshire cross pigs. Tamworths, Berkshires, or a cross. And they are very winter hardy. They have a thick hair on them. They still need an insulated structure, but it doesn't need to be heated. And that's big for us up here in northern Canada. So next year we will get 3 of those, 2 females and a male, so that we can start breeding our own pigs. And Kermudge says, okay, Wise Eyes. I'm going to leave Rob to defend me here in the chat. And Katsy says, Ella. We actually had a cow named Ella, but we ended up having to send Ella to the butcher because she was crazy. She could jump our 6-foot fences. And when I say jump our 6-foot fences, I don't really mean she could clear them. She would run and try to jump over, but she'd really go through. And then she'd let the other animals out, and then we'd have to get everyone rounded back up. And I spent a lot of time going in the forest chasing her. My property here, I've got 156 acres. It's a peninsula. The water goes all the way around. But when the cows get into the forest, I never really thought about this. So I didn't realize how good cows can do in the forest, but they've got a really thick hide. They're really strong, and so the bush doesn't slow them down. So when you're trying to chase a cow in the forest and they're just plowing through everything, they're going through the thickest stuff, and they'll go into a really thick stuff and they'll just lie down. They'll just bed down. And so it was a lot of work. I spent about 2 weeks chasing her out of the bush, because what would happen is she was scared of my wife. And so this cow would see my wife, run, jump the fence, go into the forest. I would then have to go find her, walk her back, get her back into the fence. And then, a day or two would go by and she'd do it again. My wife would come out, the cow would see her, she'd run, jump into the forest. I actually have some long form videos, if you guys want to see, of my adventures chasing the cow down. And so this happened multiple times. And after about 2 weeks, I said, this cow is a good eater. And so we ate her. And Hallie says, dude, Wise Eyes is off the rails. Here, we'll just... We'll give him a 5-minute timeout and see if he can calm down. That's fine. You know what, guys? So this lifestyle, homesteading, it's not for everyone, and I can respect that. And if you truly believe that eating animals is evil, I guess it's your right to tell people that. But for everyone else who's still got their sanity intact, welcome to my homestead. Welcome to White Pines Homestead. This is my YouTube channel, My Wildlife. I also have a website where we share a little more. Matthew, how you doing, Matthew? I see you there. We have been streaming for 15 minutes. We're hanging out by the lake, but the ducks are just right over here. I think they're just a hair out of Wi-Fi, and I don't want to mess up the stream, so I'm gonna leave them chilling. They found a little piece of shade over there, so they're liking hanging out over there right now. And so we'll let the ducks just do their thing. Yesterday, we ended up harvesting. We have 14 hens, 14 laying chickens, and we got 18 eggs out of them yesterday. Today we've gotten already another 9 or so, but a couple of the chickens I think laid eggs twice in the day. Can anyone tell me, is that possible, or was I just blind when I went the day before looking for eggs? We usually get about a dozen eggs a day, but then yesterday we had 18. And I don't know how to say your name, Komodo, but Ratata, Mozilla in the building. How you doing, Mozilla? Canadian Proud Get Outdoors says, what up, what up, what up? First time here, where you at? We are out here in northern Canada. Welcome to my off-grid homestead. I've got 156 acres. It's a peninsula. This meant the water goes all the way around. We've got some ducks over here. My cow is probably in the barn. I've got some goats chilling out by the house. The goats are over there. There's a chicken. But yes, the lake is beautiful. It goes all the way around, even though I'm doing a terrible cameraman job. I've got the fields way back here. Lots of fields, lots of forest. It's my own little piece of paradise, and I love it here. And Rob had said, if you cannot respect others, the way of life, then you are the problem. God gave us all free will. Thank you for that, Rob. And Buster, how you doing, Buster? Sorry, I'm keeping up with the chat. Guys, if I ever miss anything you guys say, if you guys really want to know something and you ask a question and I'm busy going off on a rant, just ask it again. If I see it a couple times here, if I miss it the first time, I will make sure I respond to you. And NL432 says, man, you are living the life. Thank you. Kim says, sometimes chickens lay 2 eggs. Okay, so I'm not crazy. And Monkey Man Production says, cheers, fellow creator and Canadian. Monkey Man, tell us a little bit about your YouTube channel. And while we got a bit of a crowd here, guys, I just want to give a special shout out to Apollo and Layla. Go check out Apollo and Layla on YouTube, guys. It's hosted by Steven. It's about his 2 white German Shepherd dogs, and it's just a really good time. He's streaming twice a day. I spend a lot of time over in his chat. He spends a lot of time over in ours, so go check him out. And guys, for some really high quality long-form content, if you like this kind of off-grid, middle of nowhere content, also here's 2 goats for you. Go check out Kermudge in Alaska. He's in the chat here. He's got some fantastic footage. And Kim says, what a beautiful place. You are truly blessed. Thank you. This fence is here not to keep the ducks and the chickens in. It's to keep the goats out. And the only reason I want to keep the goats out is because I like to be able to leave the coops open during the day so that the animals can go get shade and just hang out. But these little buggers like to get in there and eat all their food, and it's not good for them because chicken food has some soy in it for protein, and that upsets the goats' stomachs. And Muff Diver, oh boy, quite the name, my friend, says, when can I come fish that lake? Well, my friend, in 3 to 5 years, I plan to turn this house into an Airbnb. So we will talk then. Paying customers only. Except for Rob. Rob will be welcome anytime. Maybe we'll trade, Rob, curmudgeon. Maybe we'll, one day I'll come visit you, you come visit me. We'll have a little homestead off. And Monkey Man Production says, well, it's not family friendly. I'm in the 420 community, and shall we say, I'm from London, Ontario. Well, my friend, that is A-okay by me. How many subscribers do you have, and are you monetized with that? Because I know even just getting into like talking about hallucinogenic mushrooms and stuff, which just grow wild in the nature, I don't partake in them, and I don't really condone it, but they're here. I know that content creators who make stuff about that can't get monetized or get demonetized for it. So is your channel monetizable? Kim said, I think if I live in such a beautiful place, I would lay 2 eggs. Well, that is good. Then the chickens are happy. And Freshly Wild is saying, hello, fellow enthusiasts. How you doing, Freshly? I hope you are doing good, my friend. And Brian Newman saying hi, and Hackford saying hi. How you guys doing? I am going to do my darndest to make sure I'm responding to everyone here as best I can. If I miss you, just say it again. And Monkey Man says, I am on the road to 2K subscribers. I got about 1.74. Well, if you guys like the ganja, it sounds like Monkey Man is your friend. Fidas says, that view, you are living the life. Thank you. We got the lake behind us all the way around. We got a bunch of ducks hanging out over here. Got a couple goats chilling. I got the fields. And yeah, I've got some goats over by the house. My cow, I think, went into the barn. I think my cow went to hang out in the barn because it is too dang hot out here today. We are in northern Canada, guys. And this is Stab says, who's this cowboy? My name's Justin. Welcome to My Wildlife. We are out on our homestead. And we're just talking homestead life, guys. Where's your horse at, brah? So I don't have any horses, but we are talking about getting some donkeys. Let me show you. Here's one of them. I wish I had a better picture on here, but we are in talks with this person to go pick up a donkey. So that's Ginny. She's 3 years old. She also wants to try to sell us her friend donkey. But man, the friend donkey is 4 years old, female, pregnant, and they want $3,500. That's a lot of money. And Los T says, you look like James Franco if he was a cowboy. I don't think I'm nearly as charming as James Franco, but thank you. The Milkman's Kid says, do you have an igloo? We don't need an igloo, but we have built some, well, I forget the name for them, but you build up a snowbank and then you carve out the inside and it leaves you a shelter all year round. We usually build one of those every year. This year, it's gonna be even better and even easier because for the first time I have a skid steer, a tracked skid steer that can go in the snow. And so I plan to make a giant one that I can carve out the snow. And igloo's more ice, but yes, I plan to make one. And Kim said, not trying to be ugly, but your hat is on backwards. I hope you are trolling me again. I get this all the time, guys. I'm gonna take my hat off even though my hair is straight up and crazy. I got the porcupine hair right now because I didn't do anything with it. I had my wife buzz the sides and my hair is crazy. But what I was trying to say is there's a bow tie on the back of the hat. Oh, this way. There's a bow tie on the back of the hat. And was I just wearing it backwards? No, I don't even know. There's a bow tie. I might have been wearing it backwards for once. Normally people are trying to chirp, but I just looked and I might have had it on backwards. And the milkman says, you probably built a yurt. No, it's not a yurt. It's made out of snow. There's a name for it. It's not an igloo. I think it starts with the P, like a P sound, but I forget the name of it. And Duster says, is it autumn or fall in Canada? So it is, the leaves are starting to turn colors, but it's still been so, we've had a nice warm burst. So like the leaves on the trees are starting to change. We got, you know, some yellow, it's starting, but we had one weekend where it got down to around freezing temperatures. That was 3 weeks ago. And since then it has been a scorcher every day. And so everything kind of revitalized. This is Elsa. This is Elsa. She is right there. Elsa. She's an Alpine Toggenburg. She's about 4 months old. Hi, Elsa. Oh boy. And what part of the province are you in? I'm up near Hudson's Bay, up towards Hudson's Bay in Ontario. And Georgie says, you're gonna find a boyfriend to love you. Well, Georgie, I hope you're talking to someone else. I actually have a wife and 5 children. The milkman says, I love animals. Can we see some of your animals? Sure. We're a hair, you know, we might be a hair outside of Wi-Fi range here, but let's come over here for a second. If I lose you guys, I'm sorry. But here are some of the ducks all having a snooze. The ducks are just chilling. They are all sleepy in the heat right now. So there's a bunch of ducks. Let's go over and see some of the other animals. Let's go find my cow. And Wise Eyes still in the chat saying, thou shalt not kill. However, if we're quoting the Bible, my friend, you know, the Old Testament was all about living sacrifices, sacrificing animals and your children. So yeah, now thankfully Jesus came in with the New Testament, but there is nothing in the New Testament saying that you cannot have meat. Ah! We're trying to sneak our way back over to the cow. We gotta go this way. Ugh. All the goats are coming to say hi. Let's say hi to the goats while I close the gate. Hi, goats. I can't let you in the feed shed because you guys are little terrors. Little terrors in the feed shed. And Rob says, take care, Wise Eyes. Gotta hide you. Keep it up. Hey. So here are a bunch of our goats. Here's, this is Mimi. Mimi here is a, she is a mini Nubian. She is a Nigerian dwarf goat mixed with Nubian. And she is a little sweetheart. All the goats are sweethearts. She's probably our second friendliest goat. Maybe, yeah, second friendliest goat. She's a little stud. She's a good girl. She produces like a 5 to 7% cream. And so her milk is very, very good. I got to try to set you guys up in a way that we can see some of the animals as well as chat. I need to be able to see the screen without being directly in the sun. Let's set you guys, you know what? Let's go to the barn, guys. I'm going to take you guys over to the barn because I think that's where my cow is and I can see better. I'm going to let these goats out so they can go hang out in the yard with the other goats. Go for it, Elsa. Ooh, but not Gabby. Gabby, I don't want you going out there, okay? Okay, let me catch up with the chat, guys. If I missed anything important, just let me know. But Duster said, my favorite verse in the Bible is John 15:13, but I have accidentally forgotten it. That is A-okay, my friend. I actually have, I have a tattoo that's kind of based on, I believe it's Ephesians. It's about putting on the armor of God. It's a religious armor tattoo. Just I know the verse is more putting on the armor of God as in arming yourself with your faith, but I thought as a symbolic reference, some body armor made sense. And what does your family do for income? So I run a business. Now, right now, I've been off for the last 4 weeks because I had spinal surgery. Yesterday, I was feeling pretty good, and I thought that I'd be able to maybe do some little puttering work around here. And so I was just doing a little work on the barn, and my back was not happy with that. So we are on the road to recovery. But yeah, we had surgery 4 weeks ago. And the milkman's kid says, props to the goats. And Lighthawk said, nice cow, very black. Yes, she is a black Angus cow. She is a beauty. She's pregnant right now. We should have a baby in the spring. We are also getting 2 more heifers. Heifers are unbred female cows. So we're getting 2 more heifers next month in October. And then my wife is, oh boy, my wife is trying to figure out, where do I gotta go? I gotta go here. My wife is trying to figure out how she can go about getting, not Gabby, but that donkey. She wants this donkey. So we are trying to figure that out right now. I told my wife we wanted to get a donkey next year, but you put the seed in your head that you want a donkey, and now that's all she can think about. And so she's been looking all over the place, and so now she's just got to line up getting a hauler, because way up here towards Hudson's Bay, to go get that donkey is probably like 14 hours one way. Like it would take us 2 days to go get it. And right now with spinal surgery, I can't drive more than an hour. So that's not happening, but maybe we can get it hauled here by someone else. And the milkman's kid says, I hope your back heals up. I'm sure there's a lot of work to be done around there. I've had a little bit of experience on acreage with horses. There's always something to do, but my wife has been a rock star. She has been doing a fantastic job taking care of the animals. And Kim says, it's a wonderful hat. Thank you. And Matthew says there's a Bible verse saying that you're not supposed to get tattooed. So as a Catholic, we're not as strict when it comes to the Bible as some of the other sects of Christianity. The reason for not being tattooed was because the pagans would put ritual tattoos all over them. Think about people who worshipped other religions would put tattoos regarding that. And so it was seen as a way to kind of I don't know. They didn't want people being confused with the pagans, and so that's why there was no tattoos. But it is the 21st century, so we do things a little different nowadays. And Mankarin, welcome back, my friend from Turkey. How are you doing? And Alaska Critter Cam is in the chat. Hello. Noble says, you're moving around great for having back surgery. You know what? 2 days after having back surgery, I was able to live stream again. And so, yeah, I'm doing fantastic. It's what it was. I'll show you. Just a little mark right here in the middle of my back. They had to do what's called a discectomy. It was an emergency surgery. Basically, I've had a bad back for 13 years. I blew it out playing hockey, and I've just been dealing with it. Hey, Gabby, you're a good girl. Are you trying to burp on me? Oh, you're a good cow. Anyway, I blew my back out playing hockey a long time ago, 13 years ago, and it's just been slowly getting worse and worse. And then what happened was a couple months ago, oh, Gabby, you're gonna knock my phone over. A couple months ago, I didn't do anything in particular. In fact, I was trying to get better. I was trying to heal, so I was going to the gym lots, and I might have overdone it a little bit. My disc, my L4, L5 disc blew out, and it cut off feeling to my right leg. I actually lost, Gabby, I lost complete use of my right leg. The whole thing just went dead. And so they had to do emergency surgery to get that disc tissue off of that nerve before it killed my nerve and I wouldn't be able to walk ever again. And yeah, so they took out about 30% of the disc. So now I have to be careful because now it's healing right now. And I've got less disc, so it's more prone to blowing out. This is the second time in my life I've needed surgery to be able to walk. The first time, also playing hockey, my tendons were severing in both my legs on the insides of my feet. Orion, are you trying to get in here? What are you doing, buddy? You want in? Come on. If you want in, come on, but we're not letting the cow out. I think he's trying to let the cow out. He's jumping on the gate, but he doesn't actually want in. We're not letting Gabby out right now. Gabby wants to, she wants out, but we're not letting her out. There you go, Gabby, isn't that right? You're not allowed to go and rub against the house. No, no, no. No, no, no. And anyway, I was the tendons in my legs were severing, and so they had to cut the tendons, drill new holes in my legs, and reattach. Hey, Gabby, come this way. Come on, Gabby, come on. And so they had to drill holes in my legs and reattach all the tendons. It was brutal. I spent 1.5 years on crutches. So that was the first time I was told I'd need surgery or I wouldn't be able to walk again. And then my back blew out. So that's twice. And Shawnee says, I'm only 7 subscribers away from 1,000. If you guys are into gardening and you're feeling like you're not getting that content here because we're focused right now on homesteading, next year I plan to go big on the garden. This year it's on the homesteading. Go check out Shawnee. Get her 7 subscribers. Santa Claus says, so given your compromised back, spine, disc situation, you have to be really careful on what you're lifting, bending over and getting, yes. So I bought this tracked skid steer back there in order to save my back a lot of headache. So I bought that machine before my back blew out. Again, like I said, I was trying to make sure my back wouldn't blow out. Oh boy, we cut out a Wi-Fi. Now we got to turn the Wi-Fi off, otherwise I'm going to lose. When I get in and out of Wi-Fi, if I'm in this sweet spot right here, it disconnects you guys because we're in, out. So hopefully we didn't lose you. But let's hang out here with Gabby in the barn where it's cooler. So what I was saying was I bought that machine to make my life easier. One of the things I'm going to do, so I live off-grid here, and I heat my house exclusively with firewood. And so I have to go through about 10 cords of firewood a day. A cord of firewood is stacked firewood, 4 feet wide, 4 feet tall, 8 feet long. I go through 10 of those, a lot of firewood. And normally I cut it all by hand. So I down the trees from the forest, I drag them out of the bush with my ATV normally, and then I gotta buck them all up and then stack them all and split it all. And if you catch my earlier live streams, I split all my wood by hand normally. This year I'll have to use my log splitter. But long story short, I bought the skid steer so I could get a grapple bucket so I could just drive up to it, grab the tree, drag it out of the bush, lift it up, hop out, and cut it while it's in the air so I can save myself all this bending over. And Yippee says, I think I only have 4 subs. Yippee, do you make content? Hugh the Choo Choo says, have you ever seen the Flying Nun TV show? I have not. Peace and Joy says, what part of California are you in? I'm in northern Canada. I'm in the 51st state, up here in northern Canada. Matthew says a year. Shawnee Grows says, oh, so you were splitting with a machine, yeah? Yeah, normally I use an axe. This year I'm gonna have to use a log splitter because spinal surgery. So I got to be a little more careful. And Light says, nice. I love to split wood and stack. I really enjoy splitting it. I started my live streams off back in January, February, splitting firewood. So my early live streams are all splitting firewood. Some of them I was splitting in like minus 40 degrees weather. And it was funny. I had a really big beard, right? I hadn't shaved for 9 years. And so my beard was pretty massive. And in that minus 40 degree weather, you can watch in the course of a 20-minute live stream, my face just go white with ice. It would just, the moisture from the air would stick to my beard, and I would just have a giant beard of ice by the end of a live stream. It was quite entertaining to watch, and some of those live streams are still up, so you guys can go check those out if you want to see. I could only live stream for about 20 minutes at a time because at minus 40, the phone battery just turns off. It gets too cold, it just turns off. I tried, I could extend it by about 10 minutes if I put a flood lamp in behind the phone, because the heat from the light would keep it going a little longer, but man, it was nasty. And Duster said, I checked in my Bible and my favorite line is John 15:13. Greater love has no one than this, that he laid down his life for his friends. And Hugh, the choo-choo, says, I use sonar waves from my brain to split wood. Hugh, you got to teach me that. That sounds like an awesome trick. The milkman's maid says, I'm almost 4 months after knee surgery. It isn't easy even at the knee. Your back surgery sounds very rough. The tough thing right now is with spinal surgery, I'm at no bending, no lifting, and no twisting. And I feel good though. I feel like I should be able to. So yesterday, I pulled out the table saw and I ripped a couple pieces of wood. And just that bending down motion was already tough. And I got to reside the barn. I've got a bunch of engineered wood siding, beautiful siding. And so I thought, you know what? I know I'm not supposed to really lift, but one board at a time, you know, it's not that bad. So I had to nail in a footer board along the bottom on the outside and just splitting the one board, ripping it on the table saw, and then nailing it to the barn. And I was hurting. And I got a little scared, not going to lie. I was nervous that I did some damage. So we took it easy the rest of the day yesterday and all night. And now we're going to listen to the doctor and we're going to wait and heal. It's just tough when you feel good. Dora the Destroyer, that is a name and a half, Dora. I love that. Says, hello, cowboy. Well, hello, Dora. Peace and Joy says, I heard that in Canada, they're going to start buying back mandatory, have to give up pew-pews. So with handguns, there is already a freeze on them, and I can see them doing that. I don't see them coming after our rifles. So they got rid of the registry, so we don't have to register our guns. So none of my guns are registered. And so I could see them making you maybe re-register or register new purchases. But if they don't know you have them, how are they going to take them? They're not going to come to your house and confiscate them. I just don't see it. And Duster says, do you have solar panels to provide electricity for your home? Well, yes, I do. I don't have nearly enough. Right now, my generator has to help out. My generator's running every 2 days. But I mean, we're powering 3 freezers, 4 freezers. I got 4 deep freezers full of meat. And so that draws a ton of power. And Matthew says, I'm from Minnesota and I know all about the cold. Yes, my friend, it gets a little colder here, but you probably get into the minus 30s for sure. It is nasty. And I have this heated waterer right here. So this here is a livestock waterer. It's on like a toilet float, so the water always stays full. And it's got a heat element in it so that it doesn't freeze. But at minus 40, nothing stops it. It still freezes. I got to access it from the back with a heat gun and thaw out the lines. You don't want it to freeze too deep, so you got to catch it right away. When the line starts to freeze, you got to get in there and thaw it out, because if it ends up freezing, 7 feet down, you're gonna have a problem for the rest of the year. Good luck thawing that out. But at least you have electricity. Yes, I actually have friends who are doing the same thing, this off-grid homestead life, and they don't have electricity, like at all. And they don't even have a well pump. So what they have a hand pump. So they get all of their water by hand. When they're doing laundry, they're doing it like the old school traditional, like with a bucket that you hand pump to spin it. I couldn't imagine it. It is way harder to do everything. There's not enough hours in a day. So cheers to them. And Peace and Joy says, do you ever watch Canadian Prepper and Prepper Newsflash? He has great information. He runs both channels. I don't, although So I do consider myself a light prepper. And what I mean by that is a couple things. One, I had LASIK eye surgery right when Russia-Ukraine happened. I was thinking when Russia-Ukraine went down that we were going to see maybe some escalation. And so I went and got laser eye surgery because I was like, man, I'm a hunter. I hunt with a bow. I hunt with the guns. I can do snares and live traps and stuff like that. So I was thinking, I'm like, okay, if the world ends on us and I have glasses and I can no longer get my prescription of glasses, how am I going to survive? How do you survive a post-apocalyptic world if your glasses break or get too scratched up? Especially if your skill set is in hunting. So I got laser eye surgery, which like to me was like, yo, I'm a prepper now. So now I can see perfect vision. And so that was like a big sigh of relief. And then with my back getting worse and worse and worse, I had scheduled some appointments with my doctor, but up here in Canada, it's nasty. We have social health care, but in the remote parts of Canada, like where I am, it'll take me 3 to 4 months to see a doctor unless it's an emergency. And so I had booked an appointment, but I was still a couple months out to talk about maybe having spinal surgery because my back was getting so bad. And then before that appointment could ever happen, my disc ruptured and we had surgery. So hopefully everything heals well. And and guys, the chat is bumping. So if I miss anything you say, just say it again and I'll catch it the second time around. I hope, I promise. Cassandra asked, do you got horses? No, but we are in the process of talking to this person about potentially buying their donkey. That's a cow. That's my cow. But that donkey, that's like a magic trick. Look, da-da-da-da, cow. I can summon a cow. Anyway, sorry, I'm having too much fun with the green screen. So no horse, but we're planning on getting a donkey. Right now we've got this cow back here, but we're also planning, we're getting 2 more cows. We are getting them next month. We've got 9 goats. We've got a whole whack of ducks, chickens, rabbits, and we had pigs, but we just sent them to the butcher. And Colby says, why are you not sweating, cowboy? We'll get there. We'll get there. It's I'm getting a little moist. We're starting to get a little bit moist. My hair's starting to not stand up like a porcupine. It's starting to fall down. So I think we're getting there. We're getting there. And Kim said that's a lot for a donkey, $2,500. I know. Up here in Northern Canada, though, everything costs so much money. I was looking at Kijiji, which is like our Craigslist, Kijiji, and I can't find one cheaper than $2,000. But yeah, it's tough. That's for a Ginny, a female donkey that's ready to breed. We do plan to breed donkeys. And Lighthawk said, nice haircut. Thank you. This is my wife. My wife did this haircut yesterday. It's a little bit crazy because we're wearing a hat, but we got the fade going on and left it long on the top so that I can let the sweat drape it down like this. So cheers to my wife for being my hairdresser because out here you do everything yourself. I'm not going to drive an hour to town to go get a haircut. So cheers to my wife. And Alaska Critter Cam says, want some moose? You know where to find them. Guys, if you guys want to see some footage, some close-up camera footage of some moose, go check out Alaska Critter Cam. Their channel is about bush camera footage and really good close-up footage, high quality of some like lynx and moose. Go check it out. I saw some bears. And Luan Miles says, hello, I love farming. Thank you. Duster said, I just quickly checked an early stream and you look completely different without the beard compared to with the beard. But I saw how quickly the ice formed on your beard. I know, it's wild. I had grown that beard. I grew the beard for about 9 years. And then when my back blew out, I was in the hospital for like 3 days. And I was just so sick of like, if you don't maintain a beard, if you're not, combing it down and grooming it and just making it look okay, it was just starting to get all scraggly and gross. And so I had a moment. I shaved the thing off and then immediately regretted my decision because I love my beard. And so I decided to start growing it back. So it's coming back slowly. And Lighthawk says, your wife definitely does a good job on your haircut. Well, thank you, Lighthawk. I appreciate that. And that's awesome. I cut my own, but need people to line the back. I couldn't imagine cutting my own hair. If I even go to trim a piece, looking in a mirror, I get it wrong and it gets all janky. My wife doesn't trust me to even trim my own. Freshly Wild says, got to trim from time to time. Yes. My beard, you might be thinking like this has been about a month of growth. You might be thinking it's pretty short for a month. It's because my cheeks don't grow in well, so I buzz this. I keep all this short until the cheeks catch up. I need this part to catch up before I can let this go. And Canadian Proud says, yeah, I refuse to pay for a haircut anymore. I know, it's gotten crazy. I'm married, guys. I got a wife. I've got 5 children. The only people I need to impress are you guys, and I could put a cowboy hat in. So why do I need to go spend $40 for a professional haircut when I could just, you know, I think I still look okay. I think we still look good considering my wife is untrained and she's been doing my hair for about 4 years now. Yeah, you know what the straw on the camel's back was? I went to this hairdresser and there was a new girl there, and she was just wearing like a sports bra, and she was cutting my hair, and it just felt uncomfortable having someone in a professional setting dressed like that. And so, you know, some people might go to her on purpose because she dresses like that. For me, I'm like, you know what? I'd rather just have my wife cut my hair than go here. And I live in the middle of nowhere, and so there's not many options. And so, yeah. And Golden Arrow says, I wish I had a friend like you. Golden, I will be your friend. I am your friend. We are friends. Don't worry about it, my friend. Matthew says, I haven't paid for a haircut in 40 years. I hope to be like you, Matthew. Peace and Joy says, I had a disc collapse also. I was in bed half a year. Legs atrophied, had to learn how to walk. That's the nice thing is, so when my disc blew out 2 months ago, it cut off feeling to my right leg. So the way it first happened, for those who are just joining, I had spinal surgery 4 weeks ago. What happened was my leg felt like it dislocated out of nowhere. Like I was stiff and I was sore, and then all of a sudden it was just like pop, and my leg was screaming at me. Like I was at a 10 out of 10 pain. I was sweating. Like I was literally sweating. It was late at night. It was probably 9 p.m. And so I had my wife help me to the floor because I couldn't lie in bed. It just, you know, I needed a hard surface so I could get my leg in a position it wouldn't move. After a couple hours, I ended up just passing out. I don't know if it was because it was late. So did I just fall asleep or did I pass out? I don't know. I woke up maybe 2-3 hours later and I couldn't feel my leg. I tried to get up off the floor and my leg didn't work. Like I couldn't use it. And so I had my wife help me to bed. Went to the doctor the next day. They got me on some nerve blockers, and that gave me use of the top half of my leg back because it got the muscles to relax enough that I could use them. And then I ended up having emergency spinal surgery. And cheers to that, because like I took painkillers for 2 days. After that, I didn't need them. I was operating my day-to-day at like a 6-7 out of 10 on pain every day. Some days worse, some days better, but really around a 6-7. 2 days after spinal surgery, once the muscles that they had to cut through were no longer really aggravated, I felt better than before the surgery. And so I just stopped taking the painkillers. You know, you hear too many people get into trouble, getting stuck on the painkillers. And Aaron says 6-7. Yeah, I was taking 6-7 painkillers a day. And we have 67 people in the chat, so shout out to Aaron. Canadian Proud says, crazy, glad you're better now. Thank you. I feel fantastic, all things considering. Yesterday I overdid it, wrote the rest of my afternoon off, and this morning I spent the whole morning in bed. But mostly I'm fine. It was because yesterday I felt good. I went to the beach. I brought my hatchet with me. I trimmed all the tree branches on the way to the beach. The south side of the property is a beach. Aaron, I got you, brother. And I did that. I was feeling good. So when I got home, I started ripping wood on my table saw. I was feeling good about it. I nailed one board into the back side of the barn because I'm planning to re-side it. And immediately my back was like, what the heck are you doing? And yeah, I spent the rest of the day in bed. So I'm still healing. I'm on week 4. I'm supposed to not bend, lift, or twist for 6 weeks. So sometimes I push it. And Canadian says, please smash that like button, guys. Give it a thumbs up, please. And Duster said, what birds of prey are there in Canada? We've got eagles, hawks, vultures. You're a pretty standard mix. Because we're so remote out here, we get a lot of hawks, falcons, and eagles because they like to cruise the fields looking for snakes and mice. In fact, on one of our live streams last week, maybe, one of these chickens here caught a mouse on live stream. It was quite entertaining. Caught it and ate it. You can see a couple gaps in the back wall here of the barn. I'm currently, what I was trying to do when I hurt myself yesterday was I was trying to fill this in. I'm running a footer board across because I'm about to re-side the whole thing with engineered wood. And no, I'm not crazy. I'm not putting engineered wood on my barn because I'm a multi-millionaire. I'm doing it because I had it left over from the last house I renovated, and so why not use it? And Nightcrawler says, I am Charlie Kirk. Haystack Hider says, moonshine? Not in this one. This one isn't moonshine. This is coffee and birch polypore. So I've got birch polypore mushrooms in this cup. I don't know if it sinks when it rehydrates. It definitely sinks. It's definitely in the bottom of the cup. But birch polypore, it is a really cool bracket fungi that grows on birch trees. It has a lot of good vitamins and nutrients. Fun fact about birch polypore is Otzi, the Iceman, who was discovered frozen in a glacier. He's estimated to be about 5,000 years old. When they thawed him out, he had a leather necklace around his neck, and on the necklace was birch polypore. It's a medicinal herb. It can be used as a wound salve, so it makes for a good antiseptic, anti-inflammatory. You can use it as a bandage wrapped around when it can be flexible. And it's used as a tea. So a lot of fun. And Aaron had asked, where are you at? I am up here in northern Canada, up towards Hudson's Bay. And I don't know how to say your name. It seems like it's Angel 626. It says, you're beautiful. Well, thank you, Angel. I wasn't sure if we were saying yes. Anyway, Kaz says, how do you make money from your farm? So right now, for the most part, we don't. We do breed our goats, and so goats sell for around 150 bucks a piece, but you're only getting my goats will have about 2 to 3 babies at a time, and you get about 150 bucks a goat. And their gestation period's 5.5 months. You got to let them stay with the mom for another 3 months. So it's every like 8 months. And then, yeah, rebreed. So once a year, you can get, I've got 9 goats. So I could get about $1,000 off my goats per year. And then cows. So Gabby here is pregnant. I've got 2 more cows coming next month. I'm not sure if we're going to keep her baby and eat it or sell it. You can get about $2,500, $3,000 for a baby cow when they're about 6-7 months old. And then right now we sell chicken eggs. You can get about $5 a dozen. We're getting around 12 to 18 eggs a day, so it's $5 a day. On YouTube here, we're making $4 or $5 a day roughly. So I'm not doing this as a job. This is a hobby. Aaron's throwing out the 6-7. So this is just a hobby. You know why I'm saying it, Aaron, is because Matthew here taught me what that meant. Matthew shared me some clips, so I actually know the reference. So thank you, Matthew. Cheers to Matthew. And Kim said, I've got arthritis in my hands. I haven't had feeling in my fingers for 4 years. They're always pins and needles. I had to teach myself how to pick up flat things. I can really relate to that, Kim, because when my leg, I said when my back blew out, I lost feeling to my leg. 6-7, I lost feeling to my leg completely. Like I couldn't use it. It's like when your leg falls asleep, but fully, and you go to stand on it and you just fall over, like buckle at the knee. I couldn't use my leg at all. When the feeling in the lower half came back, it was, I couldn't feel it from the knee down, but the upper half was that tingly, burny sensation. And now what happens right now is, as the day goes on, when I wake up in the morning, I have no tingling or numbness in my leg. And as the day goes on, it gets worse and worse. When I go for a walk, I don't have to even walk far. When I walk 500 yards, my leg just falls asleep. I can still use it, but I can't feel my foot hit the ground. I just hear it. I can hear my foot thap against the ground, but I can't feel it. It's a gross feeling. That hopefully will go away, but I got a lot of healing to do still, a couple more months. The surgeon was a little nervous based on how much damage I'd done to that nerve. He was thinking that there was a chance. We had to do the surgery anyway because my back was blown out, but he was worried that I might have killed that nerve or done more damage, so he was worried that the feeling might not come back. But like I said, when I wake up in the mornings, I can fully feel my leg, so I have a good amount of faith that my leg is going to come back. Golden Arrow, I heard it playing hockey 13 years ago, and it's just been getting worse and worse with time. And then finally, a couple months ago, my disc ruptured. And cut off the nerve to my L4, L5. So they had to go in and cut out about 35% of the disc. So in between your vertebrae, there's like almost like a silicone squishy disc. They had to take about a third of it out and kind of squeeze her back in. And so, yeah, we're supposed to be taking it easy. Drew, I gotta hide that one, my friend. Diogene says, I recently got a wrench dropped on my head, and I'm pretty sure I did brain damage. Had panic attacks and depression since. Concussions and brain damage is no joke, my friend. You should see a medical professional because there is things and exercises and things they can do to help you recover. There's certain medicines and natural like teas and stuff. So yeah. And yeah, Drew sent some messages that I had to hide too, Matthew. And Asif Khan says, hi from Pakistan. Hello, Asif. How you doing, buddy? And Diogene says, I am booked for a scan. Well, you take care of yourself. Remember, dark rooms, give yourself a break from the phone. Helps your brain heal. Not that I want you to go. When you're done here, take a break. And again, guys, we got quite the crowd going. If I miss anything and you guys really want to hear, I'm going to give you guys just, if you throw like 4 or 5 exclamation marks in front of your comment, I'll know it's a repeat. And hopefully I catch it the second time. And Michael Johnson, not Jackson, says hi. How you doing, Michael? Duster says, how often do you go forage, A-G-E, forage, for the natural mushrooms that grow surrounding the forest? I'm out there foraging with my kids every couple days. We harvested some chaga and some birch polypores recently. I'm out there getting mushrooms, chanterelles, morels, boletes, lobster mushrooms, tons of good edible mushrooms in the forest. So we're out there all the time. I love foraging. The problem is up here in northern Canada, there's not enough time to forage. Our season is very short because the winter and the snow sticks around for so long, and then it takes a long time for the ground to thaw. So then you got a really short window towards the end of summer, early fall, before that's all your year is. And Diogen says, any psychoactive ones? Those ones like to grow underneath cow patties, but also there is some Amanita muscaria that grows in the forest. That is your Mario mushroom, red mushroom with white dots on it. That grows in the forest. Now that one is a legal psychoactive mushroom. I don't partake. I don't use it. I've never used it. I don't plan to ever use it, but it's fun to know about it. And that one actually it's not psilocybin as the active ingredient. It's muscimol. And muscimol is more like a alcohol. And so muscimol gives you more of a drunk psychoactive experience versus a geometric psychoactive thing. I don't partake. In fact, I don't even drink alcohol. I haven't had a single drink since 2019. It has been 6 years since I've had a single drink. November 19th, 2019. The reason for that is I've got 5 kids. So when I had my kids, I stopped drinking if I was going to be home. I would only drink if I was out of town. I run a business, so I was out of town lots for business. And then COVID hit, and all the business trips shut down. Everyone kind of bunkered down at their homes for a lot longer. And after 2-3 years, once things finally opened up again, I hadn't had a single drink for 2-3 years. And I thought, why start now? So I haven't had a drink for 6 years coming up. And Francesco says, nice, hey. And Quack Litat says, I would take it. Duster says, hopefully you don't get death cap mushrooms there. We do. I have found some destroying angels in the forest, so you do have to be careful. And Russell says, John 3:16. So God loved the world that He gave His only Son to protect it. Something along those terms. I am terrible at quoting even popular Bible verses, and I don't even know what that is trying to show, but I'm going to show it anyway. And Hallie says, what's your business? I can't give too many details, just because I try to keep, because I have young children here on the homestead, I want to keep kind of some form of privacy. And because I live in the middle of nowhere, it'd be easy to figure out exactly who I am if I told you a little bit of details. But it's a logistics company, moving freight and stuff around, a shipping company, basically. Hallie says, Also, you've probably saved so much money from not buying drinks. Yes, it was an expensive hobby. And Diogenes says Amanita phalloides. I'm not sure which one that is. There are 20 different Amanitas, but the Destroying Angel, that might be the phalloides, they call it the Destroying Angel. There's also the Death Cap. It's a white Amanita. So yeah. Yippee says, me either. It is not inappropriate. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Hallie says, makes sense. Liz says, hi. And Michael, we got to hide you, man. You got to keep it appropriate. You guys probably can't see, but on my end, every once in a while, a troll comment will come in, and it's held for review, so I got to review it. YouTube does a pretty good job at keeping the trolls at bay, but sometimes they manage to sneak through. Matthew, can you see that? You can see those, can't you? You can see those troll comments. So, yeah, the moderators can come in. So sometimes you'll see something like Matthew removing a message. I don't even know if you guys can see that. Someone tell me, can you see that Matthew just timed a guy out, or is that only for my eyes? Is that hidden to you guys? Kim says, my friend made some wine with patty mushrooms in it. Everyone got psychedelic. I got nothing. Grrr, I got nothing. Maybe you live on a different plane already. Maybe your mind is already on a hyper-focused dimension. And so you are already living your daily life in the alternative, whereas they are living on the planes. Maybe that's what happened. Diogenes says, are you a religious man? Just curious. Don't have to talk much about that stuff if you don't want to. So I am religious. I am a traditional Catholic, so not a modern Catholic. I go to a Latin church. They don't speak English. And so, yeah, traditional Catholic. My tattoo is a religious tattoo. I have a lion and a cross on the shoulder. Yeah. I don't generally talk politics or religion on here just because I'm out here homesteading. And so obviously I'm close to nature and I got a cow back there. But generally, I don't get too much into politics and religion, just to make sure this is a very inclusive environment for everyone. You know, I'm just here to be friends with everybody. So I don't want to get things too political or religious. And Kim said, that could be LOL. I'm out of... And Jacob had asked, how's your back recovering? My back is feeling pretty good. I overdid it yesterday, so we're getting better. Like I said, guys, sometimes when I go on a rant, I'm skimming the comments and I miss some comments. If I miss what you said and you really want to know the answer, just drop it with a couple exclamation marks in front. That helps me know that it's a new comment that I missed. And Barry said, do you own a 30-06? In your opinion, it's a very powerful round. I have a 300 Savage. So I'm using a 300 Savage. A 306 is that slightly smaller than the 300 Savage? They're really close. They're really comparable. I think the 300 Savage round actually fits in a 300. A 300 Win Mag does not, but I think a 300 Savage round fits in a 306 gun. So basically, that's what I'm using. And Matthew says, if you go into settings, you can make it appear all comments instead of just the best messages. Are you talking to me, Matthew? I see everything. I just don't catch them all. And Hallie says, oh, my boyfriend is also trad Catholic, and we go to a Latin Mass. Well, Hallie, we are the same person. And they're hard to find. Yes, thankfully, in my area, there is one. Otherwise, the previous cities and towns I lived in, there wasn't. I didn't know about them, and this town does have one, so thankfully I get to go there. Diogenes says, yeah, that's good. I like Christians who aren't super pushy. Not Christian myself, but Jesus was a pretty good character to emulate your life from. And Diogenes says, not religious myself. Jesse said, hello from Oregon. Yippee says, how your day been? So far, so good. Barry said, thank you, sir. Appreciate your opinion. And Kim says, do you have wild horses in your area? No wild horses up here in Canada. There's some debate. There's one type of horse that was potentially, they call it an Ojibwe horse. Ojibwe horse potentially has been around for a long time, pre-European, but there are no wild horses up here in Canada. I think it just gets too cold maybe, or the wolves. Or it was just the early settlers. Maybe early First Nations ate them. I don't know. But no wild horses. And Yippee says, yay. Yeah. So, fun fact, inside my coffee here, I put some birch polypore. It's a type of mushroom found on birch trees. It's a really good medicinal mushroom. I'm going to say this anecdotally because I haven't taken it, but early clinical research shows that it does have cancer-suppressing compounds in it. It's got, you know, your standard antioxidants. It's got some magnesium and vitamin C, vitamin D, good nutrients in it. It's anti-inflammatory, so it's good for my back, and it is antiseptic, so also good to fight off infection. Birch polypore. If you guys want to learn more about the birch polypore, check out the recent long form video I did. It's about 4 or 5 minutes long that goes into a little more detail. And Ernie's Cabin says, seen any moose lately? Ernie, man, I haven't left the house much in the last 4 weeks, so I haven't. With the spinal surgery I had, with the back surgery, I just haven't got out. I don't even think I'm going to deer hunt because I don't think I have it in me to sit in a tree stand right now. I don't have it in me to get the feed out in the field. So I think I'm going to give the deer population a year of recovery without me. So we'll go hard next year. I've got a lot of meat in the freezer, so I'm not worried. I got 3 deer last year, and so we've still got some deer left over. Yippee says, I like your cows. Let's move into the barn a little more so we can actually see Gabby better. There we go. I like your cows, and you sometimes hear the animals. And Husky says, where you from, Canada? Yes, we are in northern Canada up towards Hudson's Bay. This is my off-grid homestead. It's a peninsula. The lake goes all the way around. Beautiful piece of property, 156 acres. Mark, welcome back to the chat. Mark, how you doing, buddy? He says, hello, all. Beautiful day. It is a beautiful day. Ernie says, sounds good. Take it easy and heal. I want to hunt deer so bad this year, but I think I just need to heal. I think I just need to focus on recovering and just give it a break. Maybe if I'm feeling like 100%, like 10 out of 10 towards the tail end of the season in like mid-November, late November, if I'm feeling really good, maybe I'll throw some alfalfa back there and see what I can catch. But chances are we're just going to let it ride. And Husky says, nice. Houston, Texas here. Well, hello, my friend from Texas. JT Valentine says, what's the best and worst thing about having cows or farm stuff in general? I just got here. Welcome to the chat. Mostly it's fantastic. I would say because I harvest my animals for meat, now I am a hunter, so I do have a naturally easier time. I grew up hunting. I've spent my whole life hunting. But when you have to butcher your animals, I do the butchering myself. You build a relationship with these animals. You build a friendship with them. And so the hardest part, you know, sure, some people might say it's the labor. Some people might say, you know, mucking the barns and building barns, building fencing, doing all that. But I would say the hardest part is probably when you have to say goodbye and convert these cute things into food. Now, Gabby here, we are not going to eat her. I'm not talking about eating her in front of her. She is a breeder. She is a Black Angus cattle, and she's pregnant right now, so she's going to have her baby. But yeah, I mean, I spend a lot of time with my animals. I spend a ton of time hanging out with the cows, hanging out with the pigs, the goats, the rabbits, everyone. And so when it comes time to butcher, that's not a fun day. That's not, you know, you're happy and grateful that you're putting meat in the freezer, but, you know, there's still some remorse involved with having to eat your friends. Okay? So, that's my answer to that question. The other thing is there are a lot of daily responsibilities and daily chores involved with homesteading. And when your health is failing you, it can be very stressful. And Shilpy says, hi, hello, how you doing? And Shilpy, thank you for the like. Sorry, I can't read your language, but I appreciate you. And Mike says, that's a massive cowboy hat, my boy. So awesome. Thank you, thank you. It also looks a little bigger because we're up close to the camera. But yeah, I feel like it's an appropriate size cowboy hat. Oh boy. You go any smaller and people make fun of you for the size. You know, it's not about the size of your cowboy hat. It's about how you wear it. You know, some people's cowboy hats are too big. Some people's cowboy hats are too small. I think mine is just right. You know, the ladies tell me it's a perfectly good size cowboy hat. See what I did there? And JT says, can I ask a deep question? You may ask a deep question. You may ask a shallow question. You are in charge of the questions, and I will keep up with the chat. Rebel says, your furry friend looks stage struck. She's not used to the camera, that's for sure. Isn't that right, Gabby? She's lying down. She's trying to stay out of the heat right now. It's pretty hot outside. Let's try to position this into the corner of the barn so that... I'm trying to get this in a good spot. There we go. There we go, Gabby. And JT says, what's your favorite and least favorite thing about in the world? What's my favorite and least favorite? My least favorite thing is the drug epidemic. I think that's got to be the worst thing ever. It increases crime. It's very sad to see families getting destroyed, people's lives, people dying. I've lost friends to the drug epidemic. My least favorite thing in the world is drugs. I almost understand war, but the drug epidemic is very tragic. It's very sad. My favorite thing in the world is the good in people. I mean, we're out here having a good conversation, and the fact that we're talking with people from everywhere, we're talking with people from the States, Canada, Pakistan, Afghanistan, India, we're talking with people from all over the world, and I think that is fantastic that we have access to that in modern world. And sorry guys, I'm trying to keep up with you. Vincent said, how hot does the cow keep the structure in the wintertime? Biomass heat. Yeah, so she does a pretty good job. What we do is I put on the door here, I put some fabric, some heavy hanging fabric, and then I'm getting 2 more cows, but between the cow and my 9 goats, the barn stays plenty warm. Right now I ripped down the old siding, so it's a little more drafty. There's some holes in the walls. I ripped down the old siding because I'm gonna re-side it before winter. But yes, some people, fun fact, people would put their barns underneath their house. They build their house over top of their barn because the cows would give off so much heat. If you've ever composted grass or had a pile of grass and put your hand in it, you feel how hot it gets. That's their stomachs. They are giant composters, and so they give off a ton of heat. Good question. Cass says, are your children studying and is school close to you? My children homeschool. And Dust Bar says, yeah, coffee is terrible. I love it. I love coffee. I drink it black. MD had said, I have a question. MD, you can ask your question and I will answer. And Shilpi sings, sorry, we only speak English here. Je parle petit français, but Matthew is our Frenchman. He can be my translator for French, but I don't speak Hindi. And Husky says, nothing's wrong with weed, but that other stuff is no good. Rebel says, your cowboy hat, did you have one as a boy? I just got this cowboy hat maybe 2 years ago from my wife as a gift. I grew up in a city, and so never grew up wearing a cowboy hat or living this lifestyle. This is all pretty new to me. And MD says, can you wave for me? My wife is a fan. MD, this one's for you. Shout out to MD. Hello, my friend. And John said, how many gallons can your hat carry? It's not a 10-gallon hat, I can tell you that. How many gallons would you say my head is? My hair's got to be at least 4 right now. My hair's standing straight up in the sky. It's a 1-gallon hat. That's what we're going to say. And Shilpi says, I can't speak English, so please, I speak Hindi language. Please try to understand. Sorry, Shilpi. I don't know how to translate it. And Jade says, howdy there. I was pooping. Well, hello, Jade. I hope you had a fantastic pooperino. Vincent said, use rope soaked in wax. Facts like they wax/fats like they do for the pirate ships, fills gaps and keeps moisture out. Use rope soaked in wax on the gaps. Where am I going to get that much wax? I do have a lot of fat because we just butchered all the pigs. Lily says, City Slicker. That was a good movie. And MD said, thank you. Sanjeet says, is that a Stetson? My hat is a Saratelli, and my cow is a Black Angus. And Yippee says, I am a kid. Well, hello, Yippee. GIK says, Nick Fuentes for president. I don't know who Nick Fuentes is, other than I know, like, on Reddit, the liberal side of Reddit doesn't like him. Heritage says, can we see the goats, please? You bet, Heritage. Lily says, I'm a wannabe cowgirl. Oh, yeah. See, Gabby's like, no, don't leave me. I'm cuter than the goats. I'm cuter than the goats. I'm sorry, Gabby, but she wants to go see the goats. I'll come back, okay? I'll come back. And Lily had said, I'm a wannabe cowgirl living in a cowgirl town, but all cowboys are conservative, which is a major turnoff. Not all cowboys are conservative. The problem is a lot of the liberal cowboys are gay. Not saying that's a problem, but you're not going to find one of those that's going to want to, wed you. So you almost have to shop. When it comes to cowboys, you almost have to shop the conservative crowd if you are looking for a mate. Actually, one of the person who I get a lot of my goats from, he is a homosexual cowboy. He's got a really nice, really big goat farm. Fantastic setup. And so, yeah. My ducks decided to come out and go under the house, so that's kind of fun. As long as they don't go to the lake. Hi, ducks. Don't go to the lake. I let the ducks come in and out as they please, but I really don't want to go find them out there. So guys, it's okay to stay under the house, but don't go to the lake. Goaties! Here's Lily. Hi, Lily. Where are the goats at? Goats! Where'd you go, goats? Come here, goaty. Me. I gotta find them, guys. They're somewhere. I'll call them and hopefully they come. Come here, goats. Faye, Elsa. Where are you guys at? We're gonna turn the Wi-Fi back on while we're over here. We'll find the goats. I just don't know where they are right now. I've got 156 acres off grid. Lily's trying to catch a mouse. She's going after one. She might get it. It's either a mouse or a snake. But Lily is on the hunt. Come here, goats. RP, hello. And Amy, Army Mom say, yes, sir, ducks. Rebel said, this is what I like about YouTube Lives. Real people, real time. I hope I didn't miss anything else too crazy, but Vincent had said they also used to let iron chains soak in some type of liquid or water that would produce the red color. Most barns are painted with / make your own. That is interesting. I didn't know they used rust. If it was iron chains, it's probably rust. They probably painted the barns with rust. Kermudge in Alaska, one of our subscribers and someone who has a fantastic channel with like 50,000 subscribers, Kermudge in Alaska, go check him out. He was showing that he stains a lot of his wood with used engine oil, which I'd never really thought about. In my head, I thought that'd be flammable, but in reality, your flammable component of the oil is more the gasolines, the higher densities or lower density stuff. The oil is probably not very flammable, especially when it's used on wood and wiped off, and then but it does the job. So yeah, fun things. I have no idea where my goats are. My goats went MIA, guys. They'll eventually come, but I don't know where they are right now. Goats! Come here, goats! Goaty! Come here, goats! The problem is I have 156 acres and I have no idea what direction they went. I have no idea where they are. Come here, goats! I don't even hear them. They're somewhere. They're somewhere else right now. And can you take a picture of the lake? I don't know if I can take a picture, but you could screenshot that. There's a lake. The lake is beautiful. It goes all the way around. It goes all the way around the property. Over there, it's kind of hard to see on the camera, but right over there is the mouth to the Greater Lake, and it wraps all the way around. Wraps all the way around. And cute doggo and 6'7". And RP says only 157 acres, only 156. And DJ says they went east. If they went east, that means they're in the lake. And Benjamin, hey Benjamin, how are you doing? Says they taste better when they are free ranged. Rebel said that's the dream. Hard work, I'm guessing. RP says, dang, I only have 156 acres. 156 acres, it's a lot of land. I can definitely get myself lost when I go in the forest. I've cut some trails. The south side is a beach. The nice thing about this property is it's a peninsula, so the water goes all the way around. Aaron, welcome back. The water goes all the way around the property, and so yeah, the animals can't really get lost. When they wander into the bush, eventually they'll come back. And RP says she made spaghetti. RP said, I gotta go. My mom is calling me. She made spaghetti. RP, take care, and we will talk again later. GIK says, thoughts on using a 357 mag? I've never used one. My big game gun that I have is a 300 Savage. It's the only hunting rifle I ever use. So I can't really comment. I'm not really a gun expert in that sense. I've got 4 guns that all do different things, but I haven't used a lot of variety. Up here in Canada, it's not nearly as accessible. There's no gun range. There's nowhere you can just go and rent guns and practice and try them. It's kind of like you buy your hunting rifle and that's the hunting rifle you use. And Ryan says, hi. Hi, Ryan. How you doing, buddy? And Angel said, breathtaking view. It is beautiful out here. It is absolutely beautiful. Last night, there was not a ripple on the water. It was like a mirror. It was a perfect mirror out there. Absolutely beautiful. And Yippee says, I am learning Espanol. Rebel says, thanks for the shout outs. You're good company. Subscribed. Well, thank you, Rebel. I appreciate that. And GIK says 300 Savage is excellent. Yes, I shot 2 white-tailed deer last year off the property, side by side. So they came in the back fields at about 270 yards away, and I had a good face wind. So I called them and they turned to me, and I was able to get them to my feed pile at 70 yards, and I kept calling them to 30, 40 yards. And it was a doe and a buck. So I took the doe, reloaded, took the buck. Instantaneously, they both dropped. Perfect gun. I love it. Army says, do you fish a lot in the lake? I do most of my fishing in the spring once the ice melts. I had a couple live streams. One of them, I caught over 10 fish on the one live stream. So yeah, we do definitely. We get walleye, perch, smallmouth bass, crappie, muskellunge, and northern pike. Did I say that? Northern pike. So we get a bunch of different types of fish, freshwater fish on the lake. And Nurse says, hey, from Ontario. Hello, my fellow Canadian. And Grumpy Red Panda says, hello, sup, dude, from Canada. Hello, Grumpy. Ryan says, I shot a 12 point a couple of years ago. Well, good for you. That is a healthy buck. And what is a 12 point? So on a deer, they have their antlers, and you count each of the spikes, each of the ends, each of the spikes would be a point. And so a 12 pointer is a very healthy sized buck. The buck I got last year was just like a 4 pointer, just a little stagger, just a small little guy. But I couldn't pass it up. I wasn't gonna shoot him at first. That's why I took the doe. I took the doe and I had a buck tag. So I took the doe, and the buck didn't run. He crouched his head down and stood there for a second. And I thought, I had about a second to think to myself. And the thought that ran through my head was, hi, Lily. Do I want to sit out here in the tree stand for another couple of weeks hoping to get a bigger buck? Or do I take this opportunity while the buck is standing there? I thought he was gonna run. When I shot the doe, I thought the buck was gonna run. He didn't. So I just reloaded and I took him and I said, there you go, we're done for the year. Then I had to spend the rest of the day butchering them. So yeah. Army Mom says, my brother hunts deer in Ohio. He mounts the heads and then eats the meat. Lily, don't chase the ducks. Lily, hey, come here. No, ducks are friends, not food. Say it with me, sit, say it with me. Stay. Say it with me. Ducks are friends, not food. Friends. Can you say friend? I think she gets the point. Good girl. Good girl. You're a good girl. We'll set you guys up here. Oh, hi, Lily. Lily Cam. Oh, Lily. Hello. She has a habit. She has a habit of chasing ducks. Lily, how do I get you in the camera and me in the camera? And Lily is adorable. She is mostly innocent. When she was about 6 months old, she accidentally unalived one of our ducks, and we've been working very hard with her. Ugh. Come in my lap. Come sit with me. We've been working really hard with her to make sure she doesn't eat the ducks. But every once in a while, that instinct kicks in and she chases them. She hasn't killed one. She hasn't unalived one in the last year, but she does chase them every once in a while. And so we do got to watch that. And my sister's name is Lily. Well, there are 2 Lilies then in the chat. And Will says, oh boy, Lily, I can't see the chat. I can't see the chat over your beautiful head. And Lily Eve says, I'm subbing just for Lily. She will get love. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Lily is often in the live streams because, you know, she is our free range puppy. Oh, she's our homestead dog. We plan to breed her next year with an Anatolian Shepherd. So she is a golden retriever yellow. Giving me the kisses. She's a golden retriever yellow lab. And so we plan to breed her with an Anatolian Shepherd and keep a couple of the pups for farm dogs. And Will Carey says hi. And G-A-I-K says, any alligators in that lake? Not up here in northern Canada. The closest thing to alligators we have would be northern pike or muskellunge. They are a very large fish. They can get up to 6-7 feet long. They have serrated backwards facing teeth, and so when they bite something they can't get away. But thankfully northern pike and muskellunge don't attack humans. Very, very rarely has there ever been a fish bite from one of them. So I feel good. If they could bite and attack, I would not go swimming, but they really don't. I've spent my whole life in these freshwater lakes and I've never been bit by a fish. So yeah. And Ryan says, I have 2 golden retrievers. And let me show that. Heritage Harbor, you said, I had a Great Dane. She did the same with a chick. Never stopped killing chickens after that. Thankfully, Lily, I think she thought she was playing. Her tail was wagging when she accidentally got the duck. I think she was playing with him, but for her, playing was swinging him around by the neck. And for him, that was very much so not playing. And so he did not survive that encounter. But she's never done it since. She is adorable. She is a cutie. And yeah, she did the other day. She caught a weasel. She actually saved the chickens and ducks. There was a weasel going towards there, and she rushed it, and she caught it. It was big. It was like a decent size weasel, and she caught it and she unalived it. And that weasel probably would have gotten a chicken or 2 for sure. So good on Lily. Yeah, they got to learn. You got to train them. And sometimes it's just in them. Sometimes there is no training them. Sometimes it just happens. My neighbor, my closest neighbor, they're a couple miles away. Their sister came for a visit. Hey, goats! I was looking for you, Faye. I was looking for you. Come here, girl. Hello. I was looking for you guys. Come here, Faye. Is he trying to mate with you right now? Oh, everyone is coming up to say hello. Hello, guys. I was looking for you earlier, Faye. You guys were all in the forest. There's more goats out in the forest, but yeah. This is Faye and Orion, 2 of my goats. Orion is trying desperately to win over Faye's love. And Lily here, she's trying to herd him. She's trying to be a herd dog. She says, Faye doesn't want you bugging her right now. Oh boy. There they go. Oh no, are you guys good? Whew. They went over the cliff face for a second, but they came back. I thought they just went down, down, down. That was sketchy. It's a drop off there, guys. You probably can't, I don't know if you can tell, but like that's probably 30 feet down. I thought we lost them. I thought we lost them for a second, but they came back. They came back, my good girl. What time is it now? It is almost 2 p.m. my time. It is almost 2 p.m. We'll flip you guys back around. And yes, Yippee says, I have 2 pipples. And Ryan says, do you have a boat? I have a pontoon boat down here. So if you want to see over on my Patreon, I have a free group chat. And I posted one of my previous boats. I had a 26-foot power boat. But right now I just have the pontoon boat. But I know ledges, like these hills never look as steep as they are on camera. But this is a pretty good drop off right here. I know it doesn't look that steep. I know it doesn't look that steep, but that's probably 30 feet down. And yeah, I thought the goat and the dog went over. Anyway, here they all are. All the goats coming to say hello. Matthew says it is 14:57 in the province of Quebec. Hi, goats. There were people who wanted to say hi to you guys earlier, but you didn't come when I called you. What are you guys doing, Elsa? Oh boy, oh boy. What are you guys doing? You guys are all hanging out in the forest? So yeah, here's a herd of free-range goats. Let me just clear the camera a little bit because she's a little dirty. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to clean the camera. There we go. And Yippee says, oh wow, I saw him say it. Hi Evie, you got some thistles on your nose. Do you want to come here? Come here, Evie. Evie, let me help you. Evie, 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 don't run away. Some headbutting action. This guy's a little horn dog. This is our breeder. So this is Orion. And every once in a while, you'll hear him just let out this like bellow. You see his mouth open while he's breathing here. He's taking in all the scents and the pheromones. Goats are very promiscuous animals. He's our little horn dog. And Faye is huge compared to the other ones. Yes, that's because Faye is a full-size goat. So Faye is an Alpine Toggenburg, and so is Elsa, but Elsa's her baby. Mimi's probably the next biggest, although she's almost the same size as Orion. But so here's the goats. Faye is an Alpine Toggenburg. Mimi is a mini Nubian. Orion here, the guy, the middle one, he is a silky mixed with pygmy. He's a pygmy silky. Noe here is just a pygmy, so she's the smallest. Bast here is is Orion's son here, so you can see he's also part silky. Evie's a mini Nubian. Maple's a mini Nubian mixed with Fainter. She's a Fainter goat. The light brown one up there, or that one, the darker brown, I guess. Oreo is missing. I don't know where Oreo is. There's one goat that didn't come out of the forest with them, but she usually hangs back a little bit, so I'm not too worried about her. So there you guys go. That's some of the goats. And yeah, so the Alpine Toggenburg, the big one, they produce a lot of milk. They are bred for their quantity of milk, but it's not a very high milk fat. It's like a 0% butter fat. So it's not very tasty, but it's very good for making cheese and yogurt because you can flavor it however you want. And then the mini Nubians, their milk is like a 5 to 7% cream. And so it's very tasty just to drink. It's like drinking creamer, coffee creamer. And yes, Artie, Artie's shart stains. I feel like YouTube blocked you for a second in the comment. Probably more from your name than the comment. I don't know. But Artie, yes, we do milk the goats. We breed them and then we milk them. And by breed them, I mean I use a breeder goat. I don't breed them. My male breeds. Yippee says, what's your longest live? The longest I've live streamed was about 6 hours. It was about 6 hours. We are at an hour and a half right now. The longest that we've live streamed was about 6 hours. And I'll tell you, it's a lot of work. Trying to keep up with the chat and keep bang, 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 keep going. You get tired. You get tired. Normally around between an hour and a half and 2 hours is where most of the streams are. 6, 7. And Austin says, you can milk anything with nipples. I was Googling, we're looking at getting a donkey. This donkey here, we're looking at getting this donkey. And when I was Googling stuff about donkeys, and one of the top Google comments is, where can you buy donkey milk? Do people drink donkey milk? Is that a real thing? I mean, you know, Jeffrey, I was thinking, I'm like, why don't people sell pig's milk? Them buggers got like 6 nipples. Why don't you drink pig's milk, bruh? That shit, Austin, we can get into this market together. This is our next business venture. We can call it, our business slogan could be, if it's got a nipple, you can milk it. And we'll just sell exotic animal milk. This will be the whole business model. Exotic animal milk. We'll start a Kickstarter for our business. We'll start a, you know, I don't know, maybe we'll start with like dog's milk, something that's a little easier to access, and we'll branch out from there. We can get, you know, hamsters, guinea pigs. Why not? If it's got a nipple, you can milk it. Possum milk. Derek the Dawn says, I got a nipple too. You don't know unless you try. You don't know unless you try. And fun fact, Willard, one second. Willard, fun fact. You said you could probably sell some human milk. Apparently, if you Google it, apparently in the bodybuilder community, there's a market for human breast milk because it's very high in protein, I guess. Apparently, it's a thing you can sell. Apparently. And Michael says, Derek just wants you to touch his tatas to get... Michael, it's all for fun. We're just having a funny, hilarious time. And Hallie says, honestly, that's probably a great market to get into. Yippee says, have you ever played a game with your dog? What kind of game? Like, I'll play fetch with her. I'll throw the ball for her or the frisbee. But she's my last dog, who was a German Shepherd Husky, was very good at playing fetch because she was very good at responding to the drop it command. So she'd bring a ball back. I just say drop it. She'd put it in my hand, throw it, repeat, repeat, repeat. But Lily does not like to drop it. So I'll throw it once, she'll bring it back to me, and then she wants to kind of do the whole chew it and play with it, and it's not, you know. Kaza says, can I rent across the lake? Are the rents cheap? So up here in Canada, we have what's called Crown land. It's land owned by the government. You could technically camp over there, but it's not private, so there's no one to rent from. And Hallie says, bizarre and unlikely to be saturated. Very true. Kazoo says, nice lake. Shelby says, sup. Michael says, no, like Monopoly. I missed the initial part of that, but you bald under the hat, says John. No, I did get my wife to cut my hair yesterday. It's a little messy because, you know, it's under a hat, but we got a little bit of a fade cut, you know. It's messy. It's messy, but there's there'll be hair under the hat. And Yippee says, have you played tug of war with your dog? Yes, she likes to play tug of war. She likes to do that. Right now, I can't because I had spinal surgery 4 weeks ago. And I can't play much with the dog. But John says, nice, cool hair. Well, thank you, John. I appreciate the compliment. My wife cut it yesterday. Would you have said nice hair if it turned out I was bald? And John says, man has hair on the chest and back. I mean, I don't have a hairy chest. There's no hair on this chest. I've got a swimmer's body. I am ready to compete. Every once in a while, Matthew. Matthew. We got a bunch more trolls in the chat today. What is with that? It's a weekday. Heritage Harbor says, how isolated are you? Do you travel far for shopping? So closest like hospital, grocery store, stuff like that's about an hour away. So it's a journey. And way up here in the middle of nowhere, on the weekends, most stores are actually not open, which sounds counterproductive because you'd think you'd want to be open when people who work commercial jobs are off, but whatever. So it's definitely a hassle. When you want to do a building project, you got to get all your supplies during the week and then some, because if you run out on the weekend, you're improvising hard. And John says, eat some spicy food, it'll grow. I eat hot sauce on my everything. I've got like 5 different types of hot sauces in the fridge and they don't last long. I eat a lot of hot sauce and yet still I can swim a marathon, man. I'm ready to go. And Lewis says, what brand hat are you wearing? I am wearing a Saratelli. A Saratelli. It's a beautiful hat. It's expensive, but it's very, very nice. Very nice. I need to clean it. I got a couple mud stains on my hat, but that's part of having a farm. And John says, man, I am not trolling. And Keprick says hi. Mark said, looks like a beautiful day there today. What's the temp? It's probably about 30 degrees Celsius, like 82 Fahrenheit, 82, 84, somewhere in there. Al Gore, hello from England. Welcome to Northern Canada. Yippee says, at my dad's home, I play tug of war with my big dog. I had someone comment on one of my videos. So I say I'm from Northern Canada. I'm up towards Hudson's Bay in Ontario. And someone commented, you're not in Northern Ontario, bro, or Northern Canada. That's just like maybe Northern Ontario, but it's not Northern Canada. Okay, I'm not in the Yukon, but like Hudson's Bay is open to the ocean. So like, that's kind of the top of Canada. It's easier to say. Most people understand where I'm talking about. Anyway, Kevin says, you should try pepperonis. They're cheap and you can use them as lunch meat or throw them on a fire, and that's the best part of a pizza. Anyway, what do you mean by I should try pepperonis? I've eaten pepperoni. They don't need to be refrigerated. Dirty Money says, a felt hat in 80-degree weather. Yeah, but it's keeping the sun off the back of my neck. I'm Canadian, but I've got Italian heritage, so I love the heat. I love the heat. And Zozo says hi. Hello, Zozo. And Kaz says, it's the life of solitude that I want. I wish you success. Thank you, Kaz. Thank you. It's a lot of fun. What's the lake behind me? John, I can't answer that because if I told you what lake it is, you'd be able to find me because I'm like the only guy. I'm the only guy out here. And so if I told you what lake it was, you'd know where my house is. And while I have young children, I've got 5 sons, 8, 6, 4, 2, 0. And I just want to make sure we've got privacy out here. So I don't want to tell people exactly where I am. Not that anyone's going to come up here, but for now, I want to keep it private. Yippee says, you want to be friends? Yippee, we already are friends. You're number 1 on the leaderboard. I see that crown with a number 1. Kevin says, I mean, it's like a food that you can eat on your homestead, that like a stockpile for emergency food. I do a lot of beef jerky. I make my own jerky, and that can be kept just in jars on the counter. So I make a ton of jerky out of deer, out of cow. You can make duck and chicken jerky. So we do eat a lot of beef jerky. And Guido Planet says, where's your pistol, cowboy? I'm going to clip this and send it to Rainbolt. He'll find you. I know. There are people like Rainbolt who absolutely can find me based on the zenith of the sun's positioning with the shadow. And all you need to know is the time and he'll find me. I know. But you get the point. General privacy. If people skim through all of my videos, eventually you'll find something identifiable that'll tell you where I am. But I just don't really go and make it a point of telling people where I am. I just heard you say you eat a lot of hot dogs. That's not what I said, Kevin. Jerky, beef jerky. And P says, your neck isn't shaded. This side of my neck is shaded. I got shade from here down. And Guido, going back to where's your pistol, cowboy? I'm up here in Northern Canada. They outlawed handguns. We're not allowed to have handguns. You can get a restricted firearms license. You could, but they put a freeze on that, and I don't think they've unfrozen it, so you can't even buy handguns up here. And you're not allowed to use them. You're only allowed to use them at a firing range. So yeah. And Guido said all he needs is wind and a blade of grass. And Frandog says, "Sup, my brother? How you doing, buddy?" Paul says, "I identify as non-binary." GIK says, 5 sons is a major blessing. It is, especially when there's work to be done. Getting them to stack firewood and stuff is such a blessing, having them do the work for me. My 5 little slaves. Carter says, "I just got some land around the country and I'm looking for a horse. Do you know where to buy them?" Go to so on Facebook, there's going to be probably in your local area, there's going to be a Facebook farm group. Find that group and put the message out there that you're looking. Someone will get back to you. We're in the process of looking for a donkey right now. And yeah, they're expensive. I warn you, they're expensive. This donkey here, we're looking to potentially buy, and they want $2,500. That's a bloody car right there. That thing's a car. But we'll see. We'll see. My wife is in talks. And Lewis says, "Send me some jerky. I will pay you for it." Maybe one day, Lewis. Maybe that could be part of my farm store. And Guido says, "Wow, Trailer Park Boys had handguns. Up here in Northern Canada, a lot has changed since Trailer Park Boys came and ruined it for everyone." Kevin said, "No, I heard before you say you get a lot of hot dogs, I think, which is why I bring up pepperonis. I swear I didn't say I get a lot of hot dogs, but I do eat beef jerky." Carter says, "Thanks." Yippee says, "At my grandmother's home, I get to ride her horse, and I am only 10 and it's fun." Nice. I put my son through horse riding lessons for a while, my oldest, so that he knows how to ride a horse. If we get this donkey, we probably will saddle it and train it for the kids. So my son will probably ride the donkey. And how much would a donkey cost? They want $2,500 for her, $3,500 for her companion, female, who is pregnant. A male donkey goes for less. A male donkey is probably closer to $1,500 to $2,000. But up here in Northern Canada, oh, it's an arm and a leg, I tells you what. Carter says, "Lucky, have fun." Guido says, "I'm American. We love Trailer Park Boys. They ruin things." No, I'm joking. I'm joking. They didn't ruin anything. It's a lot of good fun. The Rickyisms are hilarious. It's just nowadays you're not allowed handguns in Canada. I'm telling you guys, though, it is cooking out here. It's getting warm. It's actually uncomfortable to drink my coffee right now, but I put in my coffee some birch polypore mushrooms. If you guys want to know what a birch polypore mushroom is, check out my recent long form video where I discuss birch polypores. But it's a medicinal mushroom that grows on birch trees. It's a bracket fungi, that's its category. Horseshoe shaped, white on the underside, no gills, tan brown on the top. Super good for you, super healthy. Birch polypore. I throw some in my coffee to get my day going. John says, "Dude, I swear I have better things to do than looking for you." Then looking for me? What do you mean, my friend? And Guido says, "Is it because of Trudeau?" Yeah, Trudeau banned guns, handguns. Kevin says, lately on my farm, I feel like there's a part 2 coming. And Guido says, "Wow." And Phil, the Swiss Vapor, said, "It's cold as crap today. Flannel and a hoodie." Well, on this side of the globe, Phil, it is smoking hot. And John says, "Oh, because I asked about the lake." Sorry, context. No, I know, John. I know you're not going to stalk me, John. It's just we get 10, 15, 20,000 people on these streams, and I just like to keep a little bit of anonymity. And Kevin said, "Angel hair pasta, good and cheap." The Swiss Vapor Phil says, "How y'all doing?" I'm doing well, Phil. I hope you are doing well. Stay warm, my friend. If you can, have a fire and gather around. Guido says, "Canada took an L." Austin says, "Nice and hot in Canada." It is today. It's a smoke show out here. It's probably between 82 and 84 Fahrenheit. And John says, "I'm not even from the America." Where are you from, John? Are you overseas? Are you in Europe? Carter says, "Oh, And my first day in the country, and Amish guy lost his horse, and I chased the horse down with him. We have had similar situations here. Well, John, I hope you're doing well in Israel. Thank you for joining us. And I had one time at my business, someone was making, so I have a big parking lot, and someone was trying to sell a goat to someone else. And so they went to transfer the goat from one vehicle to the other, and the goat got away and it took off across my parking lot. And I have goats. And so I went and I caught the goat and I held it there for the people, and they finally came and got it and brought it back. But I felt very, very homesteady and farmery when I saw this happening in the parking lot, and I kind of cornered the goat along a fence and I got it. And, you know, it felt good to be like, hey, I just helped you because your goat was gone. And I have goats myself. It's fun. And the Swiss Vapor Phil says lower 40s here. Okay, well, it's like very hot here. Steve says redneck pasta is pulled pork barbecue sauce and pasta. I don't think I've ever had barbecue sauce and pulled pork with pasta. Interesting. I don't think I've ever actually combined pasta, but I should because, you know, Italian. Austin says goat shenanigans. They're a lot of fun. I really, really enjoy the goats. They do get into some trouble, but that's what makes them fun. They're very much so like dogs. I take them for walks. They go for walks in the forest, down the road. They usually come when you call them. They like head scratches. They're a lot of fun. I like the goats. And Yippee says, I am sick, so I can't go to school, and it is Tuesday. I think I have not checked. I'm pretty sure you're right. It is Tuesday. Is it Wednesday or Tuesday? It's Wednesday. I just checked. And Kevin said, you can get the canned chicken and put some barbecue sauce on it after you put the canned chicken over direct fire. Kevin, are you a prepper? You're throwing out all of the quick and easy tidbits here. Guido says, tell John to give me back my tax dollars. Ouch. Austin said, Wednesday. TH Outdoors says hi. How you doing, buddy? I hope you are doing well. Paul said, it is Thursday for some. I think if you're over in Australia, it is Thursday by now. Yippee says, oh, okay. And Phil says, Italiano? Tu parlo Italiano? No, I don't speak Italian. Usually when I try, I combine it with Spanish and I end up sounding somewhere in between. Mi namo says Justin. I end up going into Spanish instead of Italian. I only really speak English. Je parle petit français, but that's about it. And I do some hand signing. I know a little bit of ASL, you know, sign language, but English. And lo parlo un po. And Kevin says, lunch this week. Nice. And Matthew said, Wednesday. And Wendy says, I know BSL. Is BSL British Sign Language? The only sign language I know is ASL. But I assume by the fact that we have to say the A, it means it probably is a BSL. Very fun. Okay, Wendy, I'm gonna give you a few words and you're gonna tell me if they're the same, okay? So, good. Is that the same? Good. Victor says, where are you at, cowboy? We are in northern Canada up towards Hudson's Bay. The Swiss Vapor says, ASL is American, ESL is European. Wendy said, okay. No, Wendy says, okay, no. This is okay. Oh, okay, just okay. Good. Oh, you're saying thumbs up is good for you. This is good. Okay, we say good. How about boy? Boy, grab the brim of your hat. Boy, I'm a boy. And Canadian Custom says, hello, I am from Canada. Well, Canadian Custom RC. I can tell you're from Canada based on the name. Steve says, you know, if you burp at the table in Italy, they take your plate and fill it back up. That's aggressive. That's aggressive. I've been to Italy before, and one of the interesting things is, and I know it depends on where you are in Italy, but when I went to Italy, I was expecting a lot more pizza and pasta, but it was a lot of seafood, and I never really thought about it till I got there and realized like you're right on the ocean, the sea, and so it makes sense that there's a lot of seafood. But I didn't really think about that. When you think Italy, you think pasta and pizza. You don't think seafood. Which is kind of fun. And Heritage Harbor says, I'm not from Canada. Do you only get taught English in school, no French? So up until grade 9, so first year high school, junior high school, you're taught French. But then after that, you don't have to take it anymore. And I'm 33, so it's been 20 years since I've had to learn French. And because of where I live, I don't really have to speak French. The times when I do have to speak French, I usually just use a translator. The iPhone apps and that are very good. And so, yeah, you can basically just talk real time into the apps and it'll translate back and forth. Pretty good. When I went to Paris, France. Most people spoke English, or you could point. You know, you could get by just by pointing. And Victor says, dang, gonna get cold soon. Southern California here. We had 3 weeks ago, we had some freezing temperatures, around 34 degrees Fahrenheit. But then it warmed right back up. It's been hot since. And Wendy says, no, not a brim of hat for boy. You put your first finger on your chin, slide it across for boy. Across or across? I do believe this might be another sign for boy, but we say boy like this. I think this might be brother, sibling, brother in ASL. But this is boy. This is mom and dad. Dad, mom, and then like grandpa is dad twice, grandpa or grandma. Very different, very different. So me and you would not be able to talk to each other. The two of us would not be able to hold a sign language conversation. So at least we both speak English. Wendy, is there a particular reason that you know BSL? Is there a particular reason you know how to do sign language? Is someone in your family maybe deaf? Or what's your reason for learning it? For me, it's because I homeschool my children. And because I'm not proficient at other languages, I thought getting proficient at sign language, is a fun way to communicate when we're out in public. When I want to discipline the kids or a kid's about to do something bad, I can just go, no, 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 and I don't have to talk. It's very fun. But that's why we learned sign language, was to be able to teach our children a second language. And Matthew says, French is my first language and English is my second. I am from Quebec. And Luke says, hi. And the Swiss Vapor says, I remember ASL better than ESL. Yippee says, I like the lake behind you. Thank you. Henry says, well, I waited too late to have a back charger and it didn't have. Henry, I have no idea what that means. Mark says, what lake is behind you? I can't tell you, but it's my own private lake up here in northern Canada. And Mark says, oh, sorry. Wendy said, my friend went deaf. So we went to college to learn and sign songs to her, which is so much fun. That's a good reason to learn sign language. That means you are a great friend. Victor says, good luck to you, buddy. See you. You seem like a cool dude. Well, thank you, my friend. The Swiss Vapor says, so we could talk a bit in ASL. Well, hello, my friend. I don't know what to talk about. I don't know what to talk about in ASL, especially on here. But it's nice to meet you. And Steve says, hello from Hollywood, Florida, you froggy. Hello, Steve. I see you in the chat. I see you. And Henry says, I waited too late to have back surgery and it did not help. Henry, I am sorry to hear that. I had spinal surgery 4 weeks ago, and for the most part, the immediate relief in my spine was like immediate. And I got most of the feeling back in my right leg, which was a huge blessing. It was pretty gross when I couldn't feel that leg. So I'm glad that came back. But I overdid it a little bit yesterday. We're still healing and I was trying to get some work done and I overdid it a little bit. So pretty sore last night, pretty sore this morning. Feeling a bit better right now. My leg is numb. I got to take it easy. But yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, friend. And Old School Kid says, hi, I have the same hat, just in black. Well, hello, friend. Is yours also a Saratelli? And Carter says, so I just reached out into the group and I found a guy, but he wants 12,000 for him. You weren't kidding. Horses can be insane. A donkey, so the donkey we're looking at, this is the donkey we're looking at getting. This donkey here, they want 2,500 for. This is a standard donkey. A mammoth donkey, which is basically the size of a horse, goes for up to 10 grand. I mean, it can be bougie. It can be pretty bougie. That's one of the main reasons we don't have a horse yet. People will almost give away horses when they get old. I've got a chicken coming to say hi. Where are you? There you are. When a horse gets old, like 20, people will often give them away. But that's because they're about to become a lot of money in vet bills and work. The young, healthy foals are very expensive. And the Swiss Vapor says, not from my side, probably because of the fact that you can't see me. Carter is, Yippee had said, I'm trying to keep up, but I lost context. Sorry, guys. Mark says, can you catch fish in your lake? Yes. There are walleye, smallmouth bass, crappie, perch, northern pike, and muskellunge, as well as suckerfish, some rock bass and other things in there, but those are the main catchers. Lots of fish out there. On one of our live streams, we caught about 10 fish during the one stream. It was a lot of fun. And Henry says, call everyone and say we sent it back. Call everyone and say we sent it back. Henry, I am getting so spun around in this conversation. Carter said, hold up, I'm texting him. Yeah, he is about 5. I am still getting so jumbled. Yippee said, what does it mean when the crown says one above someone? That means that you are on the top fans leaderboard. Number 1 is yourself. Number 2 currently is Hallie. Number 3 is Matthew. 4 is Henry. 5 is Kaz. There is a leaderboard. So basically, the more you talk and interact, you give the likes, the thumbs up, the emojis, all that stuff, it kind of puts you in a fun little chat leaderboard. And the top few people get like a little crown with a 1 or a 2 or a 3. The Swiss Vapor says, I'm home since Monday. My lower spine above my hips pinched a nerve. No feeling in my arms. My arms tingling. I freaked out. Checking for a stroke. All good. Better now. Work tomorrow. Still pain. Phil, I am sorry to hear that. I can very much so relate because with my spinal surgery and losing feeling in my leg, it's a very freaky feeling. The only blessing I would say is at least when I lost feeling in my right leg, it didn't hurt. It was just dead, but it didn't hurt. There was no pain. So minor blessing, I guess. It could have been a lot worse. Could have been very sore and not feeling it. Henry says, I got to check because I am going blind. I'm sorry to hear that, my friend. We're almost done the coffee. And like I said, I've got 2 chunks of polypore mushroom in this cup. So I gotta be careful not to swallow those. Aaron says, nice hat. Thank you. It is a Saratelli. It is a nice little cowboy hat out here on the homestead. We're just hanging out by the lake right now. And I think, yeah, okay, I was gonna say I turned the Wi-Fi back on, but for some reason I didn't reconnect, but that's fine. Carter said, okay, so we are going to meet up to talk about it, but he said we could do monthly payments, but I think I'm going to get him. Well, good luck, Carter. I would recommend a couple things. 1, shop around a little bit, find out how old this horse is, and 2, before you ever commit to buying something like a horse or a donkey, you really should go see it first because they very much so bond based on personality. And, you know, you don't want a horse that is not broken, that is not well trained, that is not good with other people. So if you go to this horse and it's immediately bucking and kicking, you're not going to have a good time. If the horse is basically wild, you're not going to have a good time. If the person rides often and it's broken meaning broke in, like trained, well worked with, not wild, but like used to people, like a dog, right? Like a wild dog versus a dog that'll come when you call it, you're going to have a better time. Some people will try to offload these big farm animals because they are trouble. You know, some people will have a very aggressive bull, a cow. They'll try to sell it because they can't handle it and they don't want it. And so they try to sell it off for premium. This is a good breeder. Meanwhile, he's gonna kill you. So do your homework and spend some time with it, and I wish you luck. And Henry says, I got to talk to text because I am going blind. I got a Stetson cowboy hat. Nice. And Yippee says, can you pick up one of the ducks? Honestly, I'm not really able to. My wife can. My wife spends a lot more time with the ducks. She can handle them. They run away from me. I can catch the chickens. I can't catch the ducks. I also can't bend right now because of my spine. Like, I really shouldn't be bending over. So Kurt says hi. Hi, Kurt. How you doing? And Phil said, exactly what I have since my duty. No feeling in my left thigh. Kind of cool. Injection could be put there. I'm afraid of needles, so that's a huge benefit for me. And Jesus Evangelist says hi. Heritage Harbor said, I've been using lion's mane mushroom extract for the past 2 weeks, also with coffee. Helps a lot with mental clarity during the day. What exactly are you using and why? So first, I love lion's mane mushroom. It's fantastic. I take it in pill form. I find for me, I already have near perfect vision, 20/20 vision. I think it's like 25/20. I had laser eye surgery and it worked out perfectly. But when I take lion's mane mushroom, I find it helps with visual acuity. So blues seem bluer, green seems greener, and I just seem like I can catch focus a lot faster. For whatever reason, when I take lion's mane, it seems to help my vision, my focus. Now, the birch polypore it's a bracket fungi that grows on birch trees. If you've ever heard of chaga, it often grows alongside chaga, and it's a cancer. It's a cancer suppressant, and so there's early clinical studies that say it helps fight off cancer. It's anti-inflammatory, and it's antiseptic. So that's one of the main reasons I'm taking it right now, is because with my spine having surgery, I want the inflammation down, so it's an anti-inflammatory. It can be used as a poultice for rubbing on a wound, or as a bandage. You can actually cut it into slits and wrap it around. And yeah, it's a good immune booster. It's good for gut health. It's also good at killing any internal parasites. So if you have internal parasites, which you might think, who's got parasites? If you live on a farm, it's not unheard of to accidentally contact something. So anyway, it's good for you overall. Does that answer your question? Does that make sense? If you want to learn more, check out my recent long form video. I posted one last week all about the birch polypore. Where I go into some details about it. And Mark said, I love fishing, but I live in South Africa, but it can be hard to catch fish. Out here, it's really easy. Because I'm in the remote north part of Canada, there's really no one out here fishing. The only way to really access my lake, other than from my house, is there's another lake that kind of connects through a river channel. So to get here, you got to go in through that lake to get to this lake. Because of that, the fishing's fantastic because there's nobody out here fishing. And Michael says, where do you think this guy hides the children? In the house? In the forest? In the underground bunker where nobody knows about it? Yippee says, bro, it has made me leave. What? Oh, it just made you leave? You got kicked out? Question mark. Heritage Harbor says, man, you guys are so blessed with wild mushrooms in Canada. Here in South Africa, it's not as diverse. We are very blessed with our wild foraging mushrooms. On the property, I have chaga, the polypores. I've got chanterelles, boletes, lobster mushrooms, morels, chicken of the woods, hedgehog mushrooms, a bunch of different corals. I've got at least a dozen edible species that I know of right in my backyard. And Henry says, you got any guineas on your phone? Any guineas on my phone? Any guineas on my property, on my homestead? Just ducks and chickens as far as fowl go. On the property, there's wild grouse, there's ruffed grouse, spruce grouse, and sharp-tail grouse. They're different types of pheasants, different types of birds. Yippee says, I mean, it just made me leave. Sorry, spelling wrong. Maduka says, please show us how you fish. I can't do any fishing right now because, so a couple things. One, some of the fish out here get up to like 20, 30 pounds. There are some monster fish out here. There are some muskellunge and northern pikes. They get like 6, 7 feet long. I had spinal surgery 4 weeks ago. I'm not allowed to lift more than 5 pounds. And so a bunch of the fish, if I were to try to catch one, I'd have to just cut my line. and that's no fun. So we're not going to do any fishing till I'm healed, but in another month or so, we'll get out there. We'll do some fishing once I'm ready. And Carter says, have you ever hunted in those woods on the other side of the lake? No, I haven't gone over there, but on my property, I have 156 acres, and I go hunting back here all the time. Last year, I caught a couple white-tailed deer in my back fields way back there. And yeah, we do a lot of hunting right off the land. Yippee wants to hear the 6-7. And the gaming teen says, fish can get that big? Yes. Google a muskellunge. Muskellunge. Muskelunge. Muskellunge. They are big. You're actually not even allowed to keep them unless they're bigger than like 5 feet. They are a big fish. And how were they? Good. I harvested a doe and a buck last year. I did do a YouTube video just briefly discussing that encounter with some pictures. So if you want to see that, just scroll through to last fall on my channel in my long forms, and you can see the video about my deer hunt. I got some videos during it, but I kept it just a summary. But it's very short. It's a nice, fun watch. Well, guys, we are at 130 minutes. I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes to ask any last minute questions before we wrap this up. I'm about ready to go lie down. Again, I had spinal surgery, so 130 minutes of standing and walking and chatting and talking with you guys is quite a bit for me. So last 5 minutes to have any chats or conversations before I take off. And Matthew says, in French, it's muscanonge. And Carter says, do you know where the super chat is? I know where the button is. Feel free to give me one if you want. And Henry says, yeah, you definitely need to take care of that back. And Yippee says, oh, never mind. He was about to leave, but he is still here. And Hallie says, 5 feet. That's the smallest you're allowed to keep them. And Phil says, just Googled the mushroom. I'll get some. Lion's mane is really good. This is birch polypore. And Yippie's giving the question marks. I'm briefly read. You said, I'll be right back, but not leave the live chat. And then you said, never mind. And Yippee says, I am a girl? Question mark, exclamation mark. I don't know, are you? I know that you're 10. That's all I know about you, Yippee. And Matthew says, comment, like, and subscribe. It costs nothing, and it helps the channel. You don't need to necessarily super chat to help. Just double tap that screen and give it a like. Give it a thumbs up. It's a beautiful day, guys. I'm going to stick around for a couple more minutes before we go and rest. So if there's anything else you guys want to chat about, now is the time. I'll slam the rest of my coffee and I'll pull out a couple of these birch polypore chunks so you can see what I'm drinking. Now, normally it's white. This mushroom here, normally it's white, but I drank it with coffee, so it's stained brown. But it comes in birch polypores. They range in size from about yay big to yay big. This was a bigger one, yeah, you cube it up. You cut it into cubes like this. You could drink it fresh, or I dehydrate it, get the water out of it, so that when you do put it in your beverage, it's a little more concentrated of a medicine. But yeah, this is birch polypore. Let's give ourselves a thumbnail moment where we can go like this. You do that, and then you can come back and screenshot it for a thumbnail. There you go. And Kaz says, how do you spend the rest of your day? So normally what happens is when my back is not, messed up, I go to work for the day, and then in the evenings I come home, I have dinner with my family, I spend a few hours with my children until about 7, 8 o'clock when they're ready to go to sleep. That's normally when I start live streaming, is after my kids go to sleep. Right now, because I'm off work, they're out at swimming lessons and doing stuff in the town. So I had a couple hours to kill, so I decided to come on here and spend this with you. Normally when we're live streaming, I'm not just hanging out. Normally we're working on the barn, we're fixing some fencing, maybe we're milking goats, we are cutting goat toenails, maybe we're cutting things in the bush. Carter with the super chat. Thank you, Carter. I appreciate that. Thank you. You have made us $5 closer to our goal of buying our donkey, which is going to bankrupt me, because my wife wants to get 2. Thank you. I appreciate that. For that, I'm going to stick around for 5 more minutes to chat. Especially Carter, if there's anything you want to talk about specifically, let's hear it. And Heritage Harbor says, good luck with your spine. My mom has the same problem and I see her struggle. Take care. It was tough. But you know what? Prior to the spinal surgery, I was going to the gym 4 days a week. I was trying to get really fit. I lost a ton of weight after the surgery because I was working out so much that my metabolism was revved up. And then I got, sick with this whole back thing and was hospital ridden and blah, blah, blah. And so I lost a ton of weight during that time, which feels bad because I was bulking up. I was putting on some size and then I lost it all. So once I'm healed, I'm looking forward to the physio. I'm looking forward to getting back in the gym and putting some size back on. But Carter said, oh, sorry, Yippee, for take the 1 placement. I didn't know I did that. Carter stole the #1 placement in the chat with his donation. That's actually kind of funny. I didn't know it worked that way. But yeah, so I was working out all the time. I was getting really fit. I was trying to stay ahead of my back blowing out. And then it happened. It was too late. But the nice thing is, overall, I feel better post-surgery than I did pre-surgery. I'm still healing, so I'm sore right now, but I feel overall better. When I would go from sitting to standing, my back would lock in place with that bulge disc, and I would be hobbling around like a granny. When I'd get up from sitting, I'd have to walk like this for a little while. And it would take about 5-10 minutes until things would loosen up and I could move. When I'd go for runs, I would, at the gym, I'd go on the treadmill, and the first minute or two would be barely more than a walk until I could feel my back click back into place. And then I could run. I could go 2 miles at an 8-minute a mile pace. I could run, but it took a bit for my back to loosen up. I think it was a Thursday. My back kind of was really, really pinched, and I tried to run and I couldn't, and my legs both started going numb on me. By Sunday, my back blew out. So it was a matter of time. And Carter says, how long ago did you get your land? We're at our 2-year anniversary. We've had this property for 2 years. In that time, this was a seasonal cabin. So this right here was just a cabin. I installed the wood stove because it was just seasonal. So it had a propane stove. I replaced that, but it was just like a backup heater for the fall. The people who came up here used it as a camp in the summers only. So in that time, in the 2 years, this section of the house here was just a porch. And so you can see I used the leftover siding they had. I walled it in, put windows in. I spray foam insulated the whole thing, reinforced the floors. Actually, you can see the spray foam, the yellow along the bottom. So I spray foamed the walls and floors. I basically put an interior addition on it. It was just a screen room. Made it an interior addition, put in another bathroom, a master bedroom, redid the whole house, gutted it all to the studs because it wasn't insulated. I had to rip out all of the water lines because they weren't buried deep enough. It gets really cold up here. The water lines were freezing, so I had to rip all that out. Then I built the barn. I built the log cabin for the ducks, the outhouse, all the fencing. Cut a bunch of trails. There were no trails on the property. The south side's a beach, so I cut trails that go way into the forest. It's been a ton of work, but it's been very rewarding. The only problem is I've been struggling with my health the 2 years we've been doing this. I've had 6 surgeries in 2 years. And every time I have a surgery, it puts me out for a while I'm trying to get all these projects done. So hopefully we're in the clear now. Once this one heals, I'm hoping that's the end of it, at least for a long time. And Yippee says, I gotta go, bye. Take care. RP says, are you streaming from heaven? It feels like it sometimes. And anything else we want to chat about before we end the live stream, guys? Any other questions, concerns, plans for the week? Again, shout out to Carter for the donation. Carter, what I do is anyone who gives a super chat or buys a membership or anyone who supports financially, I put you out on my website. And so Carter, I'll end up putting your name, Carter, but if you have anything else that you want linked to or recommended to, like some people have like an Instagram that they want to be recognized on, I link that in the website. So if there's anything other than just Carter you want to be known as, let me hear it, because I will put you in the Hall of Fame. out on my website, mywildlife.ca. And RP says, you wish you good fortune and good health. Thank you, RP. Jerome says, looks like a good fishing hole. It really is a great fishing spot. Right now I tend to get too busy on the homestead to do a lot of fishing in the summer. I usually do a ton of fishing in the spring when the ice melts. I can also do ice fishing, but I'm not a fan of the cold. Like, I got to be out here. I've got animals, right? So I've got the homestead. I've got, you know, the cows and the ducks and the goats and the chickens and everyone out in the fields. And so I spend a lot of time doing chores in the winter, mucking barns and putting out food and water and all that I don't want to then go and spend even more time out in the cold sitting on a hole in the ice. I do go ice fishing every year, but I'm not a big fan. And Carter says, oh, thank you. And no, I am good. I don't need much attention, but thank you. Well, you'll still go up in the Hall of Fame as one of our contributors, and I appreciate you. I thank you. And for all of you guys who were here enjoying the chat today and are sticking around, I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you. So one last shout out to Carter. Thank you for the super. And Jerome, we are up here in Northern Canada. Phil says, I'd love to visit you. Hunting, fishing, I miss America, miss home. President says, what's your fans only? What's my OnlyFans? I don't have one, but we're saving up for a donkey, so maybe I need to start one. Carla says, is your house lifted off the ground? It is. It is. And so I do put insulation under there. You'll see a piece of insulation over there. I do block it off with insulation to stop the cold from losing for the floors. But yeah, she's raised off the ground. Henry says, wish you luck with your back. Thank you. Carter says, will you be here tomorrow? I trying to think, will I be here tomorrow? It all depends. I got to talk to my wife. I think so, but probably not until the evening. So right now it's 2:47 p.m., 2:48 p.m. So whatever time zone it is for you, fast forward like 4 hours. And I'll probably be streaming tomorrow night, about 6:30 my time. I don't like to live stream when my kids are home. So I have my wife and 5 kids. I don't like to live stream when everyone's home because I like spending time with them and I don't want to put them on camera. My kids are so young and impressionable that I want them to just be kids. I do let them participate in YouTube on some of the short form videos and stuff, but I don't want them being the focal point of the camera. I don't want to. I want to focus on being with my kids. I don't want to focus on the camera when my kids are home. So normally I don't live stream when my kids are awake or home. I usually wait till they're sleeping or gone. So yeah. Tomorrow I'll probably be streaming in the evening when they go into town. And Jerome says, I live in Coast Springs. Carla says, what did you use to make your house sturdy? The spray foam insulation helped a lot. It does still shift. It's up on piers. These piers are about 7 feet deep, but they do still shift a little bit. So there is still some settling. You know, every once in a while I got to walk around with a mallet and smash the mallet against the door frames to get the doors to square up. It's just part of it. I plan to build the next house with a walkout basement down that way, a little further down the lake that way, and that will be on a concrete slab. And Carter says, I can share too, but work buddies, what's your goal for subscribers? I'm sitting around 2,000, 2,100 right now. I'd like to get to 2,500 this year, and I probably will. We're very close to that already. So that's kind of the goal there. Yeah, 2,500 subscribers would be nice by the end of the year, but that's like a low bar goal because I'm sure we'll get there. My wife just rolled into the driveway. A quick hello, wife, and hi. Do we have a dog? And so I'm gonna let you guys go. Time to go say hi to my kids, but I appreciate you guys, and we will talk again later. Thank you, Jerome. We will talk later, guys. Have a great day. And I look forward to seeing you guys later. Go check out some of the other content if you want to support us. Check out some of our shorts. Check out our long form videos. And we will talk again later.